Hello, everybody, and welcome to VIP Leagues. This is the first ever season of this championship, and we're looking at round one, Saturday splits. I'm joined today by two incredible hosts. I've got Slow-Mo and Hovercraft. Slow-Mo, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I am looking forward to tonight's races. We had some bangers on Thursday, and
Oh,
we know that these guys are going to bring it out tonight for us. So, really looking forward to tonight.
yeah, and yeah, you've already done Thursday. You've done some pre-quali. Hover, this is your first time joining for this league in particular, and you said you're excited. Why are you excited to be here?
Well, as Lomo said, Thursday delivered quite a lot of good moments in both races, and I'm excited to see how the teams are going to stack up with the second day. You gotta bring it home both on Thursday and Saturday, and no other league is quite like that. So I'm excited to see what these teams are able to produce tonight.
Me too. Honestly, it's my first time being able to join for a broadcast. I watched the pre-qualifying sessions. The sprint race was a good time. I do love Mount Panorama. Um, Tonight, of course, our second night of racing, but a whole new crop of drivers. We should see a fantastic Division II race and Division I race if last Thursday are anything to go by. We are joined in the booth by a team principal, actually, Azriel. We've seen him racing before, but today he's here as the team boss. Azriel, how you doing tonight?
Hello, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining us. Again, we know that you've got to get to actual racecraft and stuff like that, but I just wanted to bring you on and tell us more about your team, why you chose the people on your team. That's my question, because I understand that choosing your racers was a really big deal for this league.
Yeah, well, IORT has been around for a couple of years. We're a group of people that just love racing together,
Mhm.
spending time on track, and me and Fish and Alikos, we're owners of the team, and you know, uh, we're not a league per se, but we go out and find other leagues, and we kind of vet them and go like, okay, this is a great league, and our drivers that are on IORT get presented a buffet of leagues available on different nights that they can go race, sometimes by themselves or together. And we're overall pretty cool dudes. So, as we go out and meet all these different people and drive in these different leagues, we make a lot of friends. And that's afforded us the ability to put great teams together for things like IRO, things like VIP. So we have our drivers on track as well as just good friends that we've made. And they seem to like hanging out with us, so it works out.
That's good to hear. And yeah, it's true. The IRT guys y'all are pretty fun, especially fun to commentate on. I've done a lot of comms with IORT drivers. You guys are always fantastic. Slow Mo, do you have any questions for our team principal here?
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the broadcast here, Azriel. Glad to have you on board with us. So, four of your drivers raced on Thursday. What do you think of their performance?
I know they were a little disappointed. There was some early on track stuff that was not really anyone's fault, but it kind of put a bit of a damper on the start of the race. But I think like Flobs went from second to seventh, back up to third. So he had an incredible race, and our other guys, they did a good job fighting back up through the field. But it was great seeing those four green cars, together on track, making a good presence.
Yeah, those liveries look so good too, by the way.
Thank you. Flopster is a very talented livery designer.
Can we borrow him?
Yeah.
But we also have a Division II team put together, and so we had three of our drivers race on Thursday. My man Dad's going to be on track tonight, um, hopefully putting a good performance out there as well.
Can't wait to see it. Hovercraft, you did see last Thursday's races. You saw how our team IRT um, progressed through the problems that they had. Do you have any questions for Azriel about that?
Hey, this league is unique, as I said before. You got a race both on Thursday and Saturday. So, have any of your drivers that competed back on the Thursday side, have they spoke to the drivers that we're going to see today? And is there kind of a shift in strategy after not only going over race footage but also the broadcast? Like, what's the adaptation we could expect from you guys coming from the race data you got on Thursday coming into tonight's race?
Yeah, we share information. That's a benefit of being, part of the team. So we definitely shared, what went well, what didn't go so well, to help, our and that's a benefit of driving a little bit later is you get to see what everyone else is doing and take some of that away and apply it to your race. So yeah, I think Dad Leisure is gonna have a strong showing tonight in Division II.
Dad Leisure. Love that name. Um, as you're not racing, are you?
I'm not racing in this round, but I'll be in next round.
You'll be in next round. Okay, what is it about the next round that brings you in?
So we have 6 drivers. That gives us the ability to all of us in practice determine like everyone's different, with different combos, cars and tracks. In some weeks it might be these 4 dudes. Some weeks it might be a different 4 dudes. And this track, the 4 guys we put on track for Interlagos were very strong. So, I love being on track too, but I want the team to win. So we just try and put the 4 best people on track. But Daytona is a favorite of mine. So I think I'll be strong there.
Okay, see, I was hoping that was going to be the answer. I was hoping it wasn't just like, oh, availability. So I love that you obviously the strategy going behind the scenes here with 6 drivers, you are able to find out what's going to be a good team for this combo. I hope other teams have either the same blessing or that they can figure out a way to combat it, because it sounds like y'all are already on top of this, which is kind of the point of this league. It's high level elite racing, I would say. And I don't have any more questions in this moment, but maybe Slow Mo, you can rescue me.
Yeah, Azrael, tell us a little bit about, some of the rounds that you think your team's going to do strongest, and maybe some of the rounds that you guys are a little bit more worried about and maybe think you might be a little bit weaker at.
Oh, that's a good question. This we're at least afforded the ability to see mostly what is coming up, right? I kind of feel like the way that Left Pass has structured this league is like NRL with the crazy combos, the not your common stuff, lots of curveballs, but in a team environment, which is super cool. You're not just facing it alone. And, so we've got to look at everything coming up. And honestly, I don't think we're afraid of any of it. We're ready. The final round has a really interesting twist with the NERB, the sprint, where like a person gets eliminated like every like 3 or 5 minutes. That's going to be like super intense, but I think we're going to do well.
I love that. I love elimination style battling, racing, whatever. I think it's probably the only reason I still watch Formula One, to be honest with you, is the qualifying. Love a good elimination round, so I can't wait for the final there. It just speaks to having to also really just have straight line speed as an individual, not straight line, but individual racing speed. Hover, anything from you? Second question? Third?
Yeah, one of the major components of this league that separates it from a lot of the other leagues that are currently running is very much the power-up system. You get 4 power-ups throughout the season, and it's up to you, specifically, Azrael, since you're the team principal, when and how to use them. So is there kind of any, how do I say it, behind closed door thoughts or strategies that you guys as a team have come up with in terms of when to execute a power-up in your guys' favor?
Yeah, the first round we didn't do anything. We wanted to kind of see what everyone else was going to do and feel it out. And it was really cool to see, in both rounds, someone had used that front of the grid power up, and magically someone popped into first place, after qualifying. That was a big surprise, I think, for not just everyone watching, but everyone on track was like, wait a minute, how did that guy get up there? So, I'm gonna take our team's, collective ideas together, but I do have a few of us that don't want to know. They just want to be surprised. Maybe they end up at the front of the grid, so. But there's a lot of strategy there. I'm not going to spill or show my cards on that one yet.
Fair enough. A very valid idea considering it's only the first round and we have plenty more to go. But thank you very much, Azriel.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to the rest of this, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys again.
We're not letting go. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, you can't go.
Thank you for
Wow, it got really almost crime-ish here. Are we holding him or like? I think
No.
that was a polite goodbye.
No, not yet.
You're still here with us. I'm so sorry that you are stuck.
I will say, with the Division I race, the strategy, we tested everything that you could really do, and there really seemed only one viable strategy. With the Div II race we're about to see, I was really shocked to see as many hard no-stop runners as there were. We tested a medium no-stop, and it was doable, but it was pretty sketchy. A couple of our guys tried it anyway, and they just messed up the fuel a little bit, or they weren't able to save their tires. So, I bet a lot of these people on track tonight watch that, and we're going to see a lot more hard no stops. Maybe everyone trying that tonight.
Azriel, it seems like big pace is kind of one of the biggest clear threats here within the league. How do you guys plan on taking them down, and who are some of the other main competitors out of the 7 teams that you guys are really keeping a close eye on?
Oh, good question. This grid is stacked from top to bottom. Everyone is fast. You've got guys, there are 2 World Series drivers in Division II. That is crazy. And another one just joined our team, Plaka. He almost went to the World Series one year, or maybe he actually did. So there may even be 3 on track. But anyway, everyone's stacked. The AMS guys, we've raced with them before in different leagues. They are insanely quick. They are probably top competition. But tonight we haven't seen. Jorge's not racing this weekend.
Right.
He's definitely a top competitor, and there's like 12 dudes that I would immediately say like, oh, that guy's insanely fast. The other AMS guys that are racing, Looky and Get Busy, those guys are crazy fast too. So I think right now we're sitting at second as a team in the standings, notwithstanding tonight's race. So I think we'll hang. We'll do all right.
I think you guys will do fine. We're within 2 minutes of starting this qualifying, and I'm sure you got to get to the team and give some directives here. So I think unless anyone has anything else to say, we will actually let you go this time around, Azriel.
Right on. Well, enjoy your commentating and your viewing of this great race that's about to happen.
You should.
Talk to you guys soon. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Azriel. Good luck on track next week.
Thank you. Good luck.
And,
Thank you.
Go IORT.
Can't say that. That's breach of contract. So, man, I think we have an exciting race to come for Division II and I. I mean, Division II last time was super close. So we think hards all the way for, I think that was Div I. Div II felt like the mediums going all the way was a little bit rough. Hovercraft, I think you had some insight on what you think the Division II strategy will be. I mean, aside from qualifying fast, right? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, you just swap them around. It's actually Division I is looking to be the mediums, possibly into a soft. So you could also try to risk it with a double soft stint. But you get really, really shaky at the end of those 15 laps there. You're gonna have to split it down in the middle. And I think
Yeah.
for the Division II race, I think hards are probably gonna be the best way to go. I think that's what we're gonna be expecting to see.
Okay, I would have to agree. Slow mo, you literally did the comms on the race. Do you think something different?
No, that's absolutely it. I think you might see a couple folks do mediums in the Division One. That would be the only other caveat I could see.
I could see that as well. Division two seemed I know we had at least one person run out of fuel in Division two, and I think can't remember if anyone ran out of fuel in one. If they did, and it was a big deal, forgive me. It's been a long week, but fuel is always an issue at Interlago. There's tire wear and fuel because it's hilly and it's difficult to save fuel in a car that you pretty much have to rev out to really be fast in. I think the Cayman is like that. Do we foresee anyone else running into? Oh, sorry, we're actually about to go into our trailer, so we'll answer that question later. And with that, we start day 2 of round 1, the VIP League's GT World Championship. We're in South America at Interlagos, aka the Proving Ground. And we'd better tell you guys how this is all going to go. However, we can see the cars that drivers can use here and where we're going. Can you please tell the audience that?
Yes, of course. We have a 10-minute qualifier to start off the Division II race. These guys are going to have to choose between the Ferrari 458 Group 4 as well as the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport from 2016. And then afterwards, we will see 18 tours of Interlagos between the Division II drivers.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. And Slow-Mo, these are the drivers on the grid. If you wouldn't mind, please let us know who's here.
Happy to. Thanks, Patty. So we've got Justin with Velocity of Hunter and also Lyric on that team. Black Flag Mafia is going to be Cornbread and Suddy Empire. For the Dented Doors tonight, we'll see Drobo and Yannick running. For Skill Issue Racing Team, we've got Rowdy Burns and Star-Lord. Thank you. Excuse me. Those A's and O's get me every time. For Wheelhouse Racing, we have the Crooner and also Spilled Milk. Los Matadores, we have Oak and War. And then, and also Slow K. So they'll have 3 drivers on grid. Then for the Infinite Octane and Dew, we've got, is it Doodles, Dad Leisure, my goodness, excuse me. We even talked about that. So Dad Leisure closing out the grid with Infinite Octane and Do.
Appreciate you, Slow-Mo. So, this is a pretty stacked grid, just like any other grid would be stacked in this league, as we've seen already. This truly is like the elite of the elite from basically a lot of different leagues and teams that we know of. Some interesting mixes on the teammates there that I've seen. I don't know where everyone's going to qualify because honestly, so many people qualified. I don't remember where folks landed in the pre-qualifier. But I know that obviously Big Pace, they did really well as a team. IORT clearly did as well. We only have one IORT driver tonight, so we'll see where he lands. Dad Leisure, we're rooting for you, Azriel, I promise. We love your team. We love you. Slow-Mo, any predictions whatsoever? Like, not even like a full order, but give me what you think top 3 is going to look like.
Oh, putting me on the spot.
Yes.
You know, it's really so hard to say. I mean, we know that even the Division II is full of aliens. I gotta tell you, I think it's pretty much anybody's race here. If I had to pick 1 or 2 favorites, I think Oak is somebody to really keep your eyes on. I also know for a fact that Red has got some skills there. So, you know, keep your eyes on those guys. I would make no guarantees, but maybe I would make a small race.
Agreed. You know what? I've called races with both drivers driving, and actually last night I did a bunch of calls with Oak in the booth with me and with him on the track. So I know all about our boy Oak, aka K Naranjo. He does lead the procession out of the pit lane for the outlap here. We've got a 10-minute qualifier, of course. And so looks like Cornbread's gonna stay caught up with him. The slipstream is worth a good bit around here, however, but it's also so detrimental if you get stuck behind the car. Do you think we're gonna see more of this? Do you think we're gonna see people start to like veer off and make some space for themselves?
No, I think with such a stacked grid, you gotta get as many laps in. That way you hope one sticks with a very good lap time. And with these Group 4 cars, it's not as aerodynamically dependent, so you can follow a little bit closer in the corners, despite the dirty air. But of course, it's going to make them feel a little bit more shaky, especially those Ferraris that is, you know, known to be a little bit more pushy than the Porsche, the Group 4 category. You're going to see them struggle a little bit more just keeping the car stable, but these guys are very, very well versed with driving different types of machinery. So you shouldn't see anyone get caught out in terms of qualifying besides track limits. But I think everyone really wants that slipstream because, as you said, it's worth so much on the main straight that it wouldn't be very smart to not have that in your best lap.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Dirty air really isn't anything to worry about in the Group 4s. The concern would just be somebody having a nice little slide and there's nowhere for you to go. But I think it's worth the risk. Everyone here is so high level that you're probably not going to see those kinds of mistakes. I expect some incredible racing tonight. Qualifying, of course, will probably yield some surprises. We're almost at the end of our first flyer here. We're looking at Drobo in 6th place, and he's entering one of the final corners here, and then climbing up the hill towards the seats here. But let's see as time starts to come in. We should see Oak first with, Oak jumped into the pits. What am I missing? All right, Oak's in the pits, but we have time starting to come in. Scarlord goes up to the top of the 139.8, and Drobo does a 139.9, so big left space there. In fact, Yannick is going to take that first spot with a 139.5, so the times are coming in fast and hot, and that top 3 there is switching around as we speak. Slow-Mo, are you in the room? Do you have a second camera?
We do not have a second camera. No, the room's pretty full of drivers, unfortunately, so we won't have a second camera here. But I'm going to be keeping a close eye on, you know, as far as where the guys are stacked up and where they're lined up.
Okay, I'd rather a full grid than a second camera. So I thought I heard something about picture-in-picture, but that might have been someone's personal stream. My fault there. Yannick following very closely behind a car there. Can't tell whose name that is, but it seems, oh, it's Dad Leisure. It seems at this point, we're not getting slipstream, we're getting slowed down. And Yannick isn't quite safe. He's got 3 tenths really over Scarlord in second. Traffic is heavy around here, it looks like, but I haven't seen anyone else who's literally nose to tail like that. I think that might be trouble for him. We'll take a look and see. Hovercraft, I mean, what can you do? It's kind of a short quali. Do you get out of the way for someone, or do you just finish your lap?
Well, with that Leisure specifically, right, he picked up a penalty, so regardless, he'll just slow down once he reaches the penalty line. But he's technically still on, whatchamacallit, his own personal fastest lap, so it doesn't mean he's forced to go to the side. It'd be good manners, but it's not necessary. But, for example, someone like Oak, who went into the pits right after the first hot lap attempt, that could possibly be a few different things, as we see spilled milk having a 40 flat. For Oak specifically, he might have had a very bad lap, right? These guys are very well in tune with what times they expect in different sectors, so that he might have had horrible sectors on his first hot lap, meaning he just simply wanted to go into the pits, nab a fresh set of tires, meaning the rest of the qualifying session he'll be still on good tires, as well as the beneficial act that he wouldn't be stuck in traffic. The one downside, of course, he won't have any slipstream, most likely.
Fair enough. Good observation there. Yep, fresh set of tires, another chance, and unless he comes out right behind somebody, though, he will lose that advantage. But sure, ooh, as you see, Jay Smith have a little bit of a ride on that outside curb there. These are small cars, and that curb is pretty big, and he's gonna eat a half-second penalty as well. I was gonna say the tire wear definitely is high. You can see the tire dag as drivers are working only lap 4 here. The sun is setting, so it's gonna cool down, and so I expect some of that to change as we get into the night. Maybe the softs will do a little bit better, but right now it's not looking good for these drivers. Slow-mo. We talked about what the strat might be tonight because of that high tire dag. Are we still sticking to that hards all the way?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you know, and as you're talking about qualifying, I think the other thing to keep in mind is the guys that are staying on track and or actually driving into the pit as opposed to resetting, I believe might be an advantage because they're burning more fuel, losing a little bit more weight. You know, those guys that are resetting, once you reset to the pit, it automatically refuels that tank. So in my opinion, I think that might put them in a slight disadvantage in qualifying.
I would have to agree. It's a technical enough track, and it's a long enough qualifying that burning that fuel does absolutely help. So they will be at a disadvantage, even if they're able to get back to the pits faster. It's not how quickly you can get back to the pits, it's how fast you can go from the checkered line to the checkered line. So we'll see how that works out. Towards the end, we are just a little over 7 minutes, or a little under 8 minutes really into qualifying. So there's not a whole lot of time left here. I expect to see, as we see now, a gaggle of drivers jumping into the pits to get fresh rubber to get in their last couple of hot laps here. It looks like Hovercraft, is it about 2 hot laps you really get out of the tires, or is it closer to 1?
It depends, especially with how much you want to risk a lot in terms of these corners. Obviously, you want to go fast, but there are some different techniques that could lean off a bit on the tire wear end. I'd say you'd have 4 or less 3 if you really are aiming for conservation. But obviously, is it really going to be worth it? Arguably not. So it's going to be more, you know, we're seeing 2 per hot lap. As we see a huge gaggle of cars, these guys must have all went into the pits at the same time. But yeah, we're expecting 2 good laps on a fresh set of sauce, and then they're probably going to go in and change them out.
Yeah, I see that too. So now we definitely are getting close to that. This is the last chance mark. All these drivers did probably pit at the same time. Most of them will have the benefit of the slipstream. You'll notice these are some pretty high up numbers, with the exception of Rowdy Burns there in 6th. I'm seeing like 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. So for some of these drivers, it's kind of their last chance. Oak goes to the very top with a 139.4. I hadn't even realized that. So taking that pit stop and possibly not getting slipstream hasn't hurt him. He wasn't going to get it in the first place, but he did come out of the pits first. He's going to cross the line again. This time he does have a fresh set of softs, but a full tank of fuel, and he's not going to improve his time. Oh, that was an outlap. Okay, I didn't even see that it was an outlap there. We'll give him another chance. Yannick in second by not too much, 700ths of a second. We could probably stay with him and see what he needs to find to get up there. There's so many other cars on this track that we got to take a look at. But this is the battle for first. Woo, purple by 2/10 in that first sector. That is so important, slow-mo. Now this sector here, this middle sector, is probably the most important. What are the keys to this one?
Oh, it really is. I mean, I think the keys are making sure to hit your apex, but you've got to maintain your speed through that part that we see Yannick going through right there. Maintain control of the car as well. It can be easily upset or unsettled sometimes through there. And then as Sal likes to say, you get into those twisty bits. Again, maintaining that speed, man. It is easy to overbrake as you're going into some of those turns. So you want to make sure and try and brake easy and maybe trail through.
It is. It's such a difficult section to master. Yannick is still up through there by a little over 1/10, and now the giant climb to the checkered flag. Also a very important sector. That last corner there, or second to last corner, can't remember what it's called, but we'll find it in a minute. Really, really matters for carrying speed through this climb. And so Yannick has been, Lyric jumps up to the top. Let's see what Yannick can put together here. He takes second away from Oak. Oak will cross the line here and not improve. Empire will have a weird netcode situation, but Lyric with a 39.3 surprises everyone. Let's see, we still got folks crossing the line. Some changes. Jay Smith up to 8th there. Scar Lord doesn't go up. Man, we're gonna have to review the finishing results to see what actually happened and all of that. There was a lot of change towards the end there. A great qualifying session, of course. Whew, all right. Well, Hovercraft, do you mind having a look at where everyone's going to start this race?
Of course, taking our pole position is given to PhD Lyrics, setting the timing board with a 139.3. Yannick and Oak will be following the podium positions, both in the 39.4s, but Yannick being able to get the advantage over Oak. Drobo coming in 4th with a 39.6, driving Crooner 39.7, as we see VIP Scarlord being in 39.8. And VR Slow K will be a 39.8 as well as Jay Smith, all of those three drivers being within 1/10 of one another. 39.9 will be belonging to Empire, funnily enough, in 9th. VIP Rally Burns coming in 10th of a 39.9. Cornbread 39.9, again, all those three drivers in the 39.9, but Empire having the advantage over the other two. Dad Leisure, first driver in the 140s, 140 flat. Spilled Milk in 13th with a 140 flat as well. War in 14th, rounding out the grid with a 140.3.
All right. I appreciate you very, very much. And we're going to take a look at the driver standings right now as far as the championship goes. Of course, you've only had one night of racing, and it wasn't this night. So currently, everyone's got 0 points in the drivers' championship. Team championship, I imagine, will be much the same. That's correct. 0 points. A blank slate. This is the beginning of one of the most innovative leagues that I've ever been able to be a part of, and I'm very excited to see what the Saturday teams can do. Come on, Saturday crew. Let's do this, all right? It's the broadcast for the ages. Hopefully it's a race for the ages. I fully expect plenty of action. That's what Interlagos does. It bunches you up. That second sector, like we talked about, is the great equalizer, I will say, at this track here. Man, we need corner names. Slow-mo, do you know the names of the corners of this track?
Don't have them in front of me, but we can get them up here shortly. So
I know some of them. Sena S's, Subido dos Stands, or something like that. We'll figure it out. Hovercraft, are you a fan of Interlagos?
Yeah, it's a wonderful track. It does very well in different racing series. Formula One, obviously, at one point, it was the finale of the season, and it was a very beloved event there, but it does very well in WEC as well. I call the corners Senna S's, which is obviously the first technical bit.
Yep.
2 sweepers. The 10,000 hairpins that are in the inside section, and then I call the final corner launch pad because
Launch
you're
pad.
going uphill. Those are not the official names, but
No.
I call it those because I think they're cool.
Well, you know what? You guys have seen some of the graphics package here for the VIP League. It obviously looks fantastic. I propose a graphic of the Laguna of the Interlagos racetrack with those new corner names interposed. We'll keep the Senna S's, of course. Everything else is what Hover said. Okay. We'll see you at the next race. We should be starting this one pretty soon here. I think if I could get a call out on how many minutes we have left, I don't think it'll be long before we all get set up. Just a few seconds. In fact, it is a grid start with false start check, and I don't think either one of these cars will have issues with the launch. I mean, they're both mid-engined, relatively low-powered cars. It'll be that first corner that really gets you slow-mo, and we know what that looks like.
We certainly do.
Yeah. So, okay, false start to penalize, so nobody can jump it or you'll get a big penalty. So let's see who gets a good read on the lights here. Lyric with an excellent jump. Lyric will obviously retain pole position. Immediately goes into the inside of the corner for turn 1, just making sure to cover that off. Oak will maximize that turn, making sure to get all of the track there as the tires warm up. And everyone looked through neatly. I didn't see anything happen in the back there. That was an incredibly neat and surprisingly uneventful start at Interlagos here, and we love it. K Naranjo, aka Oak, in the slipstream of Lyric. He's gonna go ahead and try to make a move, or at least throw Lyric off the line. No, this is the full move. Oak looking to keep the inside here. He'll have to figure out how to get around him to go up the hill into that second sector there. I think Lyric's gonna have track position, but Oak obviously got to worry about Yannick behind. Wow, that battle for first already starting. Yannick with a little bit of a hip check on Oak. I think that was just Oak trying to make space there. There's not much to go 2x2, and Yannick with the pass done throws Oak off the line just enough. He's not going to like that at all, but Yannick seems to be ready to fight. Lyric probably hoping that would have lasted a little bit longer so he could get away with it. Have we seen anything happening further back that needs calling out, Hubbard?
No, just a small little bit of contact between, I believe it was 5th and 6th, a Ferrari and a Porsche at the end of the Senna S's. But that's about it. Everything else has been, as you said, very neat, very tidy. Not much in terms of contact. Nice.
And you know what? It makes sense. Again, we talked about the tire wear around here and drivers probably not wanting to do too much to scrub those tires off early on in the race, especially we see so many people on the hards possibly trying to make them last. So Lyric able to capitalize as Oak goes at it with Yannick again. This time he's going to get the pass done in turn 1. Both of them with a little bit of oversteer trying to get out of that corner faster than the other. But for now, Oak has taken it, and I do wonder if these two will continue to go back and forth, and if that's going to bring Drobo into the question. But he's pretty far away, second and a half back. This might be a chance for him to get back and get into that slipstream. Slow-mo, the last Division II race seemed to stay really close. I don't expect that tonight will be any different. In terms of battling, though, is it worth it this early on? What do you think?
That's a really good point. I mean, in the last race, and actually we're seeing these guys go too wide as you see Scarlord try and take that position back from Empire, who had recently just taken over 5th. There was so much battling in the previous race. They've got to watch their fuel, as we learned in the first one. That's the one thing that really could bite them. So I'll be really curious to see how much of these guys push early on in the race, or if you see somebody kind of try to settle in and really get to the rhythm.
For sure. The fuel is definitely going to be a concern. This track is, again, so hilly. Just really follows the flow of the land, which is a really hilly part of Brazil. So you're going to burn through it. It just is what it is, and you hope that you can tuck in behind someone and make a short shift. I think perhaps there's one car that maybe has the advantage where that lies. I would say the Ferrari is probably the torquier of the two. Maybe I'm wrong here, but first let me talk about the action that's happening, because Oak is right back on the back of Lyric. Lyric has not been able to capitalize on the fighting that was happening for second and third, and might actually be back under attack. This is how Oak started out the race 2 laps ago. Let's see what happens. Does he make a move in the same spot again? Does Lyric learn? Does Lyric go defensive? Or nope. Oak is going to pop out. This time going to break way later than Lyric. Can it stick? Going out wide. He's using up all of that track. That might even be a penalty. Yes, it is. It's half a second there for Oak. Unfortunately, just unable to slow that car down and turn it around and get it turned enough. Man, Hover, that's such a tough corner to go through, honestly. There's really only one good line.
It is, and as I say that, PhD, Lyric is able to try to counterattack going into the first hairpin. A little bit of a tap on Oak's rear end, but he still stays ahead. This half-second penalty is going to demote him down to third, possibly even fourth, if Droba is able to close the distance.
Yes, it is, and Lyric, I don't know if there's any real reason to attack except to maybe get Yannick off of his back. I would, even with the penalty, be looking to try and get Oak between me and Yannick, but it looks like it's going to be too late. Now, Oak is going to have to serve that penalty in an absolutely terrible spot. It's absolutely diabolical here that they stop you in the middle of this big uphill section. The time lost is nothing like the actual penalty that they give you, and you'll see he will get past like he is driving backwards here by both Lyric and Yannick. Yannick maybe even pushing Lyric along just a little bit. We'll see. I think the move is on for turn 1 for sure. Lyric staying slightly defensive but not fully committing to it, but will ultimately take the center line. Yannick looking to at least capitalize on Lyric being on the inopportune line around here, but these cars are actually pretty tricky. They move around a lot. There's not a lot of downforce, but if you know what you're doing, you can get these things to turn and burn, and they have fresh, hard tires, which are actually really, really good on these cars. Yannick pops out for a move on Lyric. He saw Oak make it happen, or at least try to make it happen. Can Yannick do it better? Lyric is going to stick with it around the outside, not to be bullied around. Contact. There's contact between Oak and Lyric is in the wall. Do we have a replay? Ooh, there is damage on that front splitter. I saw that happening. There's just not space. So Lyric is squeezing Yannick, trying to keep that line. Oak, I don't know if that was necessarily Oak's fault or if that was just some net code. It almost feels like power oversteer, but in a weird spot there. I think maybe there was a net code, maybe there was a touch, but Oak ultimately has regained first place despite the penalty. Despite this, I'm sure that will have to be reviewed. And of course, I feel terrible for Yannick or for Lyric, but he's falling down to 8th. And 8th is not too far outside of this big slipstream train, I don't think. Yeah, it's right there. Man, slow-mo, that's heartbreaking, yeah?
It really is, yeah, and I don't think that was intentional by any means, but, you're pushing the car so hard, running fast, use this fast, so Oak probably letting it slide a little bit here and there, and that may have been what happened.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened there. Oak is a very clean racer, a sportsman-like racer. Of course, he'll feel bad about it, and but still, ultimately, a racer. You see that face of concentration here in the picture. Yeah, look at that camera. What a star. Focus, Oak. Don't listen to me. But Oak in first place, really fighting it out. We talked about whether or not the battling was worth it, but I forget. This is only an 18-lap race, and this track is not a particularly long track. The laps go by quickly. It might be worth it to be going this hard. And sure enough, they really haven't been caught up by Drobo, even with all that fighting up front. Drobo is not really in the fight with them here, starting in third place and back. Hovercraft, I mean, what does that say about the pace between the top 3 that are now top 2 and the rest of the best?
Well, top 2 is swapping back and forth between Oak and Yannick. Yannick trying to find a position around the outside, unable to do so. Will he take a look down the inside? No, but closes the gap on the braking. Yeah, going hard early on has its positive, has its detriments. Obviously, he wants to break away from the train behind. So even if he loses the position to Yannick by the end, he won't fall lower than seconds. But this is also coming at the risk that he doesn't spin the car anywhere. Oak is very well known for trying to go as hard as possible, but that doesn't mean he isn't able to complete it. As I almost had a slide off launch pad. But Oak, yes, he wants to go fast, go right away. He seems to be the most comfortable on this hard set of tires. Unfortunately, Lyric didn't seem very comfortable going off the softs into the hard set of tires, and it unfortunately bit him back by losing the position based off that spin.
Yeah, not great for sure. And you know, this is a track that is fairly easy to defend. It's difficult to pass around here if you have a determined defender, because there are so many corners where there's really only one optimal line. And we've seen in this corner in particular so many times that folks have made mistakes just being off that optimal line. This is Curva del Sol. That's what it is. It's the curve of the sun, and somebody just picked up a penalty. I think that
was Oak.
Another half second there in the same exact spot because of the same exact reason. It's such a tough corner to take with the off the line, and he was really trying hard to throw Yannick off, and that's a corner you just gotta concentrate in, or you're gonna get it wrong every single time. So Yannick now with another chance. This has got to be frustrating though, to see Oak make so many mistakes, pick up penalties, and still not be able to get that first place spot. I don't know, what does he have to do different, Slow-Mo?
Patience, if you ask my opinion. You know, that you mentioned that turn there that's so tricky. The track just sends you out wide and wants you to send you into the shadow realm. You got to do everything you can to maintain that direction. And we've seen Oak miss that twice, unfortunately, so that penalty is unfortunate. But, you know, I think for Yannick, he's just going to do his best to stay patient. And honestly, it looks like he's just running his race.
That could be it, too. I mean, he hasn't been overly aggressive, but, you know, when he's there. And right now, he's obviously picked up first place because of Oak's mistake there. Drobo is that much closer. Jay Smith is coming along with him in the tow here, and then not far behind Jay Smith is Scarlord. So no position up here is safe. That is Oak dipping a wheel into the grass on the outside of turn one. That is incredibly lucky. That is such a common place to lose it all, really. In turn one there, you have to be so careful. Oak able to hold on to it and still not lose too much time to Yannick. Drobo might even be holding these other drivers back a little, but, you know, fuel being an issue, it might be worth it for them to just save up. And by the way, I was wrong about that corner name. That is Desira do Lago, because there's a lake there. It goes down into the lake. I'm remembering the themes, okay? I don't know which one is do Sol. Anyway, Empire going through what we're just going to call the million hairpins, because I do not know these names at all. I don't think they really matter. What we know is that they're difficult to take, and we're looking at the mid-pack, just all trying to keep momentum here. Spilled Milk trying to stay away from this pack. 9th, 10th, and 11th, all looking like a gang on a mission. We got a Porsche, we've got a Ferrari, and then we've got another Porsche, so a little bit of a sandwich here. What is our take rate on the Porsche versus the Ferrari, do we think? I haven't really been keeping count.
You know, Tati, as we were going through the qualifying results, it looked like a very good mix between both cars. Pretty equal balance, if you're asking me.
I love it, and I think I see two of them going side by side back here. Who is that? Yeah, that's 10th and 11th. That's Rowdy Burns and Dad Leisure. Rowdy looking for a way around the outside, and really, I think that's Dad Leisure making the attack. He must have had a great exit out of Launchpad, as we have now renamed it. However, that Tesla's got pretty long legs. I was thinking about which car might have an advantage on fuel saving. I mean, the Ferrari's a V8, but obviously it's going to be a high revving V8, at least ideally, right? It's turbocharged, not turbocharged rather. This is a naturally aspirated one. It's 458. However, you're usually very in tune with these sorts of technical things. Do they have an advantage on fuel saving around this track and being able to power out of the slower corners?
So for me personally, I found that the Porsche has a little bit of an advantage in terms of fuel. It's not by much. It does peak its power curve very early on. Earlier on compared to the Ferrari, so you can shift it a little bit earlier without losing the power. But it really comes down to the nature of the car. The Porsche is a very stable car. It wants to It wants to have its front end pointed very early on, and you can just slam down on the throttle and you'll power out no issue. Ferrari is very much on the upper side of the handling. It loves being sharp. It loves to turn in wildly, and you gotta keep it under control. You gotta keep its turn in tempered. The more important thing is simply, how does this affect with tires? With the Porsche, once the hards start, dying down, it wants to understeer a lot more, as we see Star-Lord using the slipstream that Drobo's providing to go down the inside. This should be an easy position for the VIP driver. Let's see what happens. Drobo trying to keep it around the outside, but no dice, it seems. Star-Lord braking later than the other Ferrari driver and takes P4 through the center S's. Going back to what I was saying, the turn in kind of still stays the same over the lifetime of a hard tire, meaning you're not going to have to deal with as much of a handling characteristic deviation compared to a fresh set of hards.
Gotcha. Drobo is still trying to get back at the Ferrari, but let's take a look and see what happened there. Just outbraked into turn one, tries to stick with it around the outside, but ultimately got the better line here than Drobo, Star-Lord did rather, and is able to get out of there. I think, the Ferrari being a bit more peaky, if you will, as far as handling goes, and oversteer, for me, as far as my style of driving, is a blessing around here because of this section here with these hairpins. They're so weird. The apexes are kind of weird on them. You're looking at kind of late apex some. This one right here, horrible in a car that understeers, right? You really want a car that will turn in and get pointed in the right direction. So for me, I would be looking for the Ferrari around here. But that Porsche is really good. It is very easy to drive. Like you said, it's pretty stable, but once the tires wear out, it can be a little bit of a dog. Whereas the Ferrari might still give you some of that turning that you need. Is Empire going to make a move here? I think that was Empire with a good drive up the hill. Whoa, that's Lyric. Still last, pretty much. Yeah, Empire fighting against Drobo. Drobo and Empire swapping spots on the track there. I don't know what that was about. I kind of missed it, but Empire deep on the brakes into turn one gets Drobo in exactly the same way that Star-Lord did. And Drobo's got to be wondering, well, what am I doing in turn one that's not working out? Because all of these drivers are able to completely outbrake me. And it's been two different cars. It's been a Ferrari and it's been a Porsche. So, it's got to be something that Drobo's doing, right? Do you risk braking later into turn one when you're in the middle of the race, Hover?
In a way, I will always do it because I love fighting and I always want to fight for the position. But, in a 18-lap race where you never know what truly will happen in the future, especially with these cars starting to lose a lot of fuel and tires, it may not be the smartest idea to strictly brake later, as we take a look at Yannick and P1, 1.7 seconds clear of Oak. So you typically want to try to just, if you gotta let the position up, go ahead. There's still plenty of race to go. But looking at Drobo's pace and seeing how he's kind of falling off, it might have been smarter to try to defend a lot harder, because Drobo doesn't seem to be getting any faster compared to Empire and the VIP driver.
Yeah, that's a good observation, and maybe he is or maybe he isn't. May still be trying to conserve those tires, and has decided, hey, this is my braking point for this corner. I shall not be changing it. You do get a it's not a tailwind, but it's a crosswind across that front straight there, and it's against you as you turn into turn one. And I wonder if the other drivers are taking advantage of that, and maybe Drobo can. But again, could just be trying to save his tires. We are pretty early on in the race, and they got to go all the way. We'll see if he's able to come back on those two drivers. Star-Lord hasn't run away from Jay Smith. He doesn't seem to be that much closer to Oak. Or sorry, Jay Smith doesn't seem to be that much closer to Oak. Hard to tell from here, but it's 2 seconds. I'm trying to gauge how much that is on this track. Okay, so they're still, pretty much on the same straight together after the descent to the lake, if you will. We're going to say that in English. I can't speak Portuguese to save my life. But Oak running really well. 2.5 seconds behind Yannick, though. So he went hard, but it seems that he's decided not to anymore. Yannick is now our leader. He's racing for Dented Doors. He's fourth in the Drivers' Championship and fourth in the Team Championship right now, or I guess that would be the Dented Doors numbers. I don't think Yannick has any points yet to say where he is in the championship, unless I'm missing something there.
I think that's based on qualifying.
Based on qualifying. Got it. Thank you, Slow-Mo. I knew I had to be missing something. Okay. So Yannick, fourth is pretty good. So Yannick, incredibly quick here in comparison to the other Division 2 drivers, and obviously running away with it currently. Oh, I thought Oak was going to jump into the pits here. Not quite time to give up on the hards yet, I don't think. Oak with Los Matadores, he is second in the Drivers' Championship, again, based on qualifying. The team is third in the Team Championships. Now, Slow-Mo, you were there for most of the qualifiers. Can you give us a quick overview of how qualifying worked, in particular the team aspect of it?
Oh, to that point, that was one of my favorite things about qualifying. The teams were able to get out there together, work together, if they chose to. We saw some very cool dynamics where people would maybe scrub a lap, maybe they didn't have a good lap going. They'd scrub it, wait for their teammates at the top of the hill, and give them the slip down that final back straight. So it was a really cool dynamic to have the teams getting the track to themselves and being able to put their quality laps in.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then those laps were then average. So it really did matter,
That's correct.
How each individual did. No one could really carry the team. So it was worth it to stop and slow down and help a teammate if you did have a scrub lap or if you'd set as fast a lap as you knew you could and you had plenty of time. I did see some of that happening. For some folks it worked, others it kind of failed. It was nice to see everyone give it a try, or everyone who did give it a try. We're looking at Scarboard's onboard view here, looking backward at Empire and Drobo. We're 12 laps into this race, and we still have tons of pockets of racers who are just stuck together like this. Scarlord races for the Skill Issue Racing Team, SIRT. He qualified in 17th, and his team overall qualified in 5th. So definitely going to want to work hard here. We're looking at a fuel warning, but I think that's premature. He's got plenty of fuel in the tank to make it to the end of this race. I think, yeah, he should. He's got just under half a lap. Do we still think people might be in danger of running out of fuel as far as what we've seen so far, Hubbard?
Possibly Oak and Jay Smith, those two drivers, I took notes. They have some of the lowest fuel that we're seeing right now, but they're still technically on pace to make it to the end of the race without needing to go into the pit stops. Empire trying to take a look down the inside, unable to do so. But Oak and Jay Smith still on pace to be able to make it to the end of the race. They just have to reel it in a tiny bit to make sure they make it.
Got it. Yeah, they did go hard again. Well, at least Oak did. Not so much Jay Smith. We're looking at Drobo's onboard here, or hood cam, if you will. He qualified 8th. His team qualified in 4th, and we're looking at Empire with a little bit of a bump on Scarlord. I think Scarlord really left the door open there, but he's able to maintain speed in that corner. Empire out in the slippery outside. There's just not much room to be offline in this track, and Scarlord not even really looking to defend, almost just sticking to the line, and you can see how it's benefited him. Empire, despite getting him off his game, is unable to capitalize. So now it'll be looking to get a launch out of this corner. Empire got a great one last time and was able to attack attack Drobo rather. Let's see what he can do to Scarlord here. Can he do him exactly the way Scarlord did Drobo? He looks inside, he looks outside Scarlord, saying, I'm going to shorten this as much as possible, and you might as well stay out there. Empire will pick up more slipstream just to defend a little bit against the driver behind in Drobo, and will look for perhaps an over-under on Scarlord. Scarlord parks it on the apex, as he should, though, and prevents that move from happening. Empire will have to try somewhere else. As they go through Curva del Sol, Scarlord should be able to maintain speed and get back to full throttle a little bit quicker than Empire. Empire will be able to tuck out from behind him, though, and show the nose into the descent. Can Drobo capitalize and get through? Empire in danger of going wide here, holds it tight and does not. Scarlord will stay with him, though. He has the inside inside line for the next couple of corners. This one right here, though, will make or break Empire. Can he maintain his speed on the inside line? You can take the outside around here and go around the other driver. Both of these drivers holding on to it incredibly tight. Neither one giving it up. They're still side by side through the hairpin. Drobo has nowhere to go. He just can only hope someone messes up. Empire looks to be coming out of it unscathed, relatively, but certainly they would have scrubbed off some of the meat of those tires there. And Drobo was just an onlooker. He couldn't get anywhere and still remains stuck in this battle for fourth. Ooh, a bit of a tap there. Scarlord hits the back of Empire. He backs out of it in case Empire goes out wide. He didn't really. Empire gives a little waggle to show I'm okay. Thank you for backing out of it. Let's take a look at it again, and then when we come back, we'll see if Drobo took advantage there. Yep, there it is. He just outbrakes himself. Empire does miss the apex, but he is able to stay on track and get back on the gas. Where's Drobo? He is attacking Scarlord alongside, but not quite ahead. Oh, the action is packed here, obviously, but Scarlord still behind Empire, has Drobo, but now we've introduced Cornbread. It's now a four-way battle for fourth. All of that happening over the last couple of laps has made this even bigger. Spilled Milk is still too far to get into it, but it's anybody's game for basically just off the podium step here, fourth place points. There's a move towards the inside for Scarlord. Or no, I think it was a cutback because Empire would have been behind, and Empire now looking to get underneath their opposite spots of the track than they were in the last lap here. Scarlord now with the inside to go up the hill towards the second sector, and he's able to out-accelerate Empire, and Drobo finally gets through on Empire. We've seen Empire stick side by side, though. He will not give it up, especially not with Cornbread right there looking to capitalize. All of these guys are going to run out of rubber, but what else can you do? Slow-mo, what else can you do?
Oh, you keep driving, pedal down, head forward, and keep going, man. These guys are running too wide. As we watch this pass a little bit closer here, you'll see Empire right there in the background as Drobo and him are going side by side through this section. I mean, these guys are running too wide in parts of this track that are just very tricky to do so. But this track is wide. It allows for that.
It does, and you know, a little bit of a touch there between Empire and Drobo for that pass, but it's part of it. It's a tight track. You guys are both trying to make a tight hairpin turn. There's only so much space, and I wouldn't even call that door banging. That was more of a door handle touch. They'll be okay. It is what it is. Drobo, though, knows that he can get back at these guys and take advantage of all this fighting. I think patience would help him here, though, right, Hover? I mean, he doesn't have to burn his tires out along with these guys. Just wait, it'll come to you. It will come. They're fighting it out. They're duking it out over and over again.
That's true, but I feel like Cornbread and Drobo are sensing that Empire is having some problems with his tires, because I've noticed that when we went on board with him, he arguably has the worst tires among these four, and Drobo and Cornbread, being experienced drivers, definitely sense that, and they're trying to take advantage of that early. But it doesn't seem like Empire's really slowing down. The Ferrari ahead of him, the Canadian, not running away with it as much as I thought it would have. But these laps are starting to trail down while Empire trying to take a look down the inside. A little bit of a tap to say goodbye. Empire needs to run away now because these three drivers want him. They want this fourth place, and there's only 3 laps to do so.
Yeah, you know, while you were saying he doesn't seem to be slowing down, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, that's because he's lulling Scarlord to sleep. He hadn't made any aggressive moves in at least the last sector and a half, and Scarlord forgot to defend Empire with a quick little tap. I'll take that, thank you. But to your point, his tires are almost done. Can he keep these cars behind him? I don't know. It is fairly easy to defend around Laguna Seca. I keep calling it Laguna Seca. Interlagos. I mean, we've seen it, right? Neither of these drivers has been able to completely run away with it or even fully claim fourth place. We've seen them pass and repass each other. It does show how difficult it is, but in principle, in general, it is always easier to defend than to pass. Empire, even with the worn tires, probably wants to be exactly here and wants to let these cars, these drivers, burn their tires up behind him. He's only got 2 more laps to have to run, slow-mo. I mean, what does he do? What do you do defensively around here?
Oh, I think you said exactly what he needs to do. He's going to have to be defensive. As we see, Scarlord is going to go ahead and tuck on the inside.
Yeah,
not able to make it work.
From you here really quickly. I didn't expect something to happen so soon. I'll come back to you in a second here. Empire able to defend over Scarlord, but Drobo now getting an opportunity at Scarlord. I think Scarlord able to get out of it faster, and then that brings Cornbread into it as well. Drobo loses out on a position when he looked almost sure to get one. Empire, in the meantime, continues to just look in his rearview mirror and laugh at what's going on behind. He is almost done with this 17th lap, and still no one's been able to make a pass. Now, his braking and acceleration out of the final corner coming up here, Yunsao, I believe is what it's called. It's not really the last corner, but it's the last one that fully matters. All the others are full throttle, and you just got to take the straightest lines through them. This matters. Holding on to his momentum is going to matter, but he will have had trouble with turning and braking. But look, Scarlord isn't catching up to him any faster. He's going to do his best to keep Scarlord out of his slip for as long as possible there. He holds a tight line through here, and Scarlord's not really able to make anything happen. Final lap here for Empire. We should probably see what's going on with Yannick. I think he's up there by quite a bit. Yeah, Yannick's got 2.7 seconds on Oak. He looks, he's just got to take it home. Oak is good with 5 seconds behind him to Jay Smith. The battle is the one for fourth, and it's a four-way battle between four incredible drivers. Empire's put on quite a show so far. Scarlord has only just a few more chances. Cornbread's gained one position. He may gain 2 more positions before the end of this as we start Sector 2. Well, we end Sector 1 and look to start Sector 2, a crucial sector and one where Empire has been under attack several times at this point. But he does seem to be starting it with a good bit of breathing room. Do you think he's got it slow-mo? Just a few more corners here.
Only time will tell. That's why they run the race, right?
You're right. We're almost there. We're watching here as he absolutely puts on a masterclass. I know those tires are worn. That front right is incredibly worn. I don't know how he held such a tight line on that left-hand turn, but that says everything we need to know about this driver. He's got one more right-hand turn to make that really, really matters, and one more left-hand turn to make that matters, and he's got a little meat on that front right, so and that rear right, so he may be able to get it up the hill. Yannick will cross the line here in first place, undisputed. Oak will follow in second with Jay Smith right behind him. So you got to fuel. Oak is out of fuel. He just crosses the line. Jay Smith, ooh, that was close. Empire, very, very close, keeping as tight a line as possible. Scarlord looks to get around him. He's not able to do it. Cornbread will take fifth, sticks behind Scarlord. Drobo in seventh. Slow K finishes in ninth place. And Rowdy Burns in 10th. Dad Leisure will cross the line in 11th. Ward takes 12th place. Driving Crooner in 13th. And then Lyric, who unfortunately just could not get it back together, will finish dead last, 14th place after starting on pole. That's not good, but the race was. I forgot we're going to be on camera. Let me fix my posture here. I got tired. Slow-mo hover. What a way to start the night, right? There was never a lull in that race, and we have a race with even faster drivers to go. Thoughts on this one, though? Let's start with this one.
Yeah. First, let's take a look at the results, and I'll take you guys through them if that's okay, Tati. So you've got Yannick starting in a, not at pole, but ends up finishing in P1. Well done for him. Oak finishing in that second position. Jay Smith, who we didn't talk a whole lot about, kind of quietly moved himself into third. Well done for Jay Smith for that last podium position. Empire, who we watched very closely throughout the race, was under pressure for the entire race, taking that fourth position. P5 goes to VIP Scarlord. P6 for Cornbread. P7 for Drobo. P8 is going to be Spilled Milk. Then you've got P9 is NVR's Slow K, 67. P10 is VIP Rowdy Burns. P11 is going to be Dad Leisure. P12 for War. P13 was Driving Crooner. And P14 is Lyric.
Okay, great. And we've got a host disconnect there. Hopefully we got all the replays and stuff that we need. But thank you for reading those race results there. Man, what a race. Basically, what we called hovercraft, the strategy was, hey, don't go get fuel, don't pit at all. No stop, hards, take it all the way. And we only saw one driver run out of fuel. That was Oak, who went really hard. I think this is basically what you expected, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm very unfortunate for Lear getting that horrible contact that spun him into the wall. He had pretty good pace, even if he wasn't exactly comfortable with the hards. But he did get fastest lap, if that's any sort of concession. To most drivers, it isn't, but that's still something to take away from tonight's. But yeah, Drobo kind of unexpectedly went down the grid a little bit. I was expecting him to do a little bit more, especially starting in fourth. As you said, Jay Smith really just ran his race, treated it like an endurance race, was able to get really close to Oak, one extra lap, and he would have gotten it for sure. But this is the type of, this race in particular, different driving styles lead to different results. And that's what we saw, especially with all the early data that we got from Thursday's night's race. You really saw how that really evolved this race going into the night, right? Every one of those drivers, I bet, watch Thursday streams to be able to go into this race with the best strategy possible.
100%. And of course, it being a team league, they would have had data from hopefully some teammates or at least friends to their team. So clearly we got a superlative race this time around, again, because of a lot of that data that was given here. So we've got a little bit of a break timer going. We still have more race just reactions to share, though. So much action on track. It got hard to keep up with. I want to say Empire started this race. You know what? I have screenshots. Hold on, because Empire started the race far down in 9th place. Made his way up to 4th. And I mean, talk about an absolute battle. He never truly ran away with it, but just holding on to it, the tenacity. I want to say that as far as what I saw on track, that might have been the best display of just like dogged stubbornness that I've ever seen, which isn't easy at this track. It's so hard to stay consistent here. Slow-mo, did you see anybody else on track that you felt like really had that kind of determination? Maybe Drobo.
Man, I think everybody had determination. It really seemed like these guys were paying attention to what happened on Thursday. You didn't see anybody on a different strat. Every single driver went with the hard strategy, no pits, managed their fuel very well. We even see Oak, who, did run out of fuel, but, fortunately for him, it didn't cost him any positions. It was really right down to the wire. So he calculated that fuel almost to the absolute T. Boy, these guys, another thing I think that we saw, there were a few penalties. I think we saw Oak with a couple of them. There was many less penalties in this particular round than we saw the Thursday round of Division II. There was a lot more penalties on that as well. So, those guys really put in a good race for us tonight.
Yeah, and good for them. This is one of those tracks where you really don't want to get a penalty. Some of them, the penalty spot's kind of lenient. It's like right before a braking zone anyway or something, so you don't really lose too much. This one is devastating. It's on one of the fastest parts of the track, going uphill, and that probably would explain why Oak ran out of fuel. He had to start accelerating again up that hill. So that really could be it. He did calculate it down to the wire, got super lucky there to not lose the position. Man, I don't even know what else there is to say about this track. It's incredible. It is an incredible track that makes for incredible racing. And when you put great drivers on it and great commentators telling people about the drivers on it, you end up with what we just had. And we have an even longer one coming very soon. Drivers should be on track now, probably practicing for that. Another qualifier. Is it also 10 minutes hover, I believe?
I believe so, yes. It should be 10 minutes.
10 minutes for that quali as well. Okay, and it starts in about 11 minutes. And so we'll let you guys take a bathroom break, a water break. Everyone should hydrate. I know that's what I'm going to go do. And we'll come back to you when we're back on track. Well, if that wasn't a heck of a preview, I don't know what is. If you saw the first race tonight, you got a treat. If you just saw that trailer, you got a second treat, a morsel, if you will. We're about to enter the Division I race, though, of the VIP GT World Championship. This is round one. We're in Interlagos in South America, and this is going to be the top of the racers. So, again, we're at Autodromo de Interlagos. We have a 10-minute qualifier and a 30-lap race this time around. Drivers will be in a mix of the Ferrari 296 GT3 or the Porsche 911 GT3R. Both are the newest versions of the Ferrari and Porsche GT3 machinery in this game, and they are serious pieces of kit. Very excited to see them here. Slow-mo, I think the next thing that's coming up on screen will be the list of drivers that we have. Can you give us a rundown there?
Absolutely. Thank you, Taki. So for Team Big Pace, we're going to see Loki and Get Busy. For the S7R Titans, we'll have Mr. Racing 40 and Rusty Maggots on my fantasy team. Wink, wink. The wild cards are represented by Moose and Wicco. Then you have the Ghosts, which will be, is it Joe Gal and Doodle Bob? Then we have, a third driver as well, which is Supo Stupido. Team Gotifi, we have JP Scale, Shahir, and then for the RPM Bandits, they're going to be represented by Crawler, Void, and Player.
Okay, so we had serious names in the last race. The names get more seriouser. It's a word. More seriouser in this race. Hovercraft. I mean, you and I have raced with a bunch of these guys. We have commentated on races with a bunch of these guys. A few of them are actually on our team. And we're in probably the best machines for this track that we can be right now, in keeping with this theme. Give us the rundown on this race. What are the strategies? What are we going to expect? Is it going to be a dogfight this whole time, all 30 laps? What are we looking at?
I think we're going to be seeing two different strategies realistically. I think it's really going to be more or less a medium to medium type of race, right? Around lap 15, they're going to go into the pits and get their second set of mediums. We also could possibly see kind of, you extend a first stint of mediums and then you finish out the race on soft, somewhere between, I'd say, 9 to 12-ish laps is where you really want to push the softs into in terms of how long you want to extend it to. But yeah, I think those are the two dominant strategies, especially from what we saw on Thursday. Those races, those seem to be the preferred strategies. But as well, these two different cars, the Porsche and the Ferrari, as you stated before, they're the most recent additions to the Group 3 category for GT7. It's really going to come down to preference. I think the Porsche has a bit of an advantage overall. It just seems to be playing around at Interlagos a lot more kindly. But that doesn't mean the Ferrari isn't a slouch. The Ferrari does have its advantages in terms of turn-in. It's just going to be really how well these guys are able to maximize their cars tonight.
Got it. Okay. A quick second question on strategy. I mean, if an extended medium into a soft stint is viable, is a early soft into an extended medium also viable for maybe people at the front of the pack or people who really need to move through the pack?
I believe so, but it's going to be more of a matter of how much you want to fight on those opening laps. If you're at the front, obviously that soft strategy can most certainly work, since you have less people to fight with. But if you're down in the middle of the pack, and especially the rear, it's not going to really turn out that well. You're going to be moving through traffic quite a lot. You're going to be held up quite a lot, and all at the expense of chewing up those soft tires way quicker than the medium. So it's possible. I expect someone to at least try to do it, but I think for a mass majority of the grid, we're going to see a medium start.
Okay, got it. That makes sense to me. Why take a risk? Though this race, slow-mo, starts later in the evening because obviously it starts after the Division II race. What did we see on Thursday as far as tire wear? I know it's different cars, but did the cooler track temperatures help at all with tire wear and how far folks could go on those tires?
Honestly, I think they did. I mean, Sal and I had discussed it even during Thursday's broadcast that at one point, we were questioning, could somebody take the mediums on a no stop? And I mean, I think it's possible, but not viable. Those tires would be so scrub the race that people would probably be driving right by us. So I think to your point, the cool temperatures do help these guys with the tire drag quite a bit. It'll be really interesting to see how these guys manage it. The other thing that I'm really excited to see is, do we see anybody use a power up? Obviously it's the first round. A lot of people want to hold those, close to the chest throughout the league, but somebody could very easily all of a sudden pop into pole position that maybe qualify there.
That's true. That's true. And you know what? With the cooler temps mentioned, I think maybe Hover, you were onto something, making those softs last towards the end of the stint, towards the end of the race when it's absolutely at its coolest, might be the best thing for drivers there. On the subject of power ups, if you don't know what those are, there are quite a few of them. I will name a couple of my favorites. There's one where you can push one of your drivers up to the very top of the grid. Doesn't matter where they qualified. They can be in pole position, just like that. Bananas. I mean, of course, that's going to be fun. Bananas adds time to the end of, I believe, the race leader's time, or maybe it's a driver that you choose. I think it's a driver you choose.
Yeah,
it's a driver you choose. I think it adds 10 seconds to the end of their race time, just like a banana kind of would in Mario Kart. There are, of course, other power-ups. You can check them all out at motorsportleagues.com. And if you just search the VIP League, you'll be able to find all the rules and all of the little things and intricacies about this league that make it so unique. But yes, I do hope we see a power-up tonight, because I think they're kind of petty, and I like that kind of racing.
Yeah. No, that off-track strategy is so much fun. It really, and the other thing I don't, that the audience may want to know is, they have to declare it before the race. It's all done in secret. Nobody really knows about it until all of a sudden you look up on the grid and you're like, hey, I qualified 1. Why am I starting in P2? What happened? So
or I finished the race.
That would be why. Right.
Yeah, I finished in 2nd. Why am I in 7th? Yeah. Good time. So by the way, like and subscribe. If you are watching this right now, please, please, please hit the like button. Just take a second, thumbs up it, subscribe to the channel, whether you're watching on McNaughty's channel. We hopefully will get you on the Upshift Media channel. Look us up, Upshift Media Studios. We want to see you there. And everything that we do commentary on will be broadcasted on that channel. So we have just a couple of minutes, maybe even 1 minute until qualifying starts. We'll know, because we'll jump onto the track all of a sudden. Laguna, why do I keep wanting to call it Laguna Seca? It's the lake thing, right? Laguna, Lagos, it's killing me. All right. I'm going to try to do better around that. Interlagos with the sun setting is stunning. That last race ended kind of in the golden hour-ish. This one hopefully will start around that. But I don't think, Hovercraft, I don't know if you're a scholar of racing in real life, but I can't think of any nighttime Interlagos races.
Off the top of my head, I don't believe so. I know WEC sometimes likes going into the evenings, but as far as I know, you are correct, mostly due to the fact that there are no track lights across the entire track. So, yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask, too. In my mind, I'm like, I don't remember seeing lights around that track either. Not that that has ever stopped anything. We run 24 hours around the Nürburgring for whatever reason. And we love that race. It's very, very dark. So we are on track for qualifying. Drivers are going through their out laps here. One thing I'm already noticing is a little bit more space between the drivers. We talked about on the GR4's dirty air not really being so much of a problem. Here it absolutely is, especially in those fast sweepers in the first and final sectors, but even to an extent in this middle sector here. Still, the slipstream is worth a lot, slow-mo. So again, you were here on Thursday. What did we see in terms of qualifying? Were the drivers sticking together, or were they giving each other space?
No, you did have drivers that were somewhat packed up on Thursday. They weren't spread out as far as you would think. On that same line, there were a couple of guys that really just waited and got themselves into open air and did very well with that. So, as much as that slip can be used, sometimes it might be okay to just go out there and put out your best lap.
I don't know, in GR3 machinery, anything that's aero dependent around here, I really just don't want to be around anyone. It'd be nice to catch them when it's fun, but you know, the Senna S's can be, you know, heck. Are we allowed to curse? Anyway, it can be heck. If you are caught up behind someone and they, you know, you cross them just the right way, you're already on edge there, so it's difficult to get that earlier turn in that you might need to avoid washing out in there, and some other corners as well. But what I'm seeing here is folks are pretty close together. So tire wear is high, tire deg is high on this track as well, or on this race as well. Hovercraft, with the dirty air and scrubbing those front tires, do we think we'll be getting 2 and 3 hot laps on the set, or will these drivers be pitting sooner?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 is really going to be your sweet spot in order to try to nab a good hot lap. Anything past that, you're starting to really feel like you need to turn the car in a lot more with the steering wheel, and that's just not a great feeling for these qualifying laps. So, yeah, 2, 3 hot laps, they're going to clock in, try to get a you know, fast pit stop. I say fast, they just have to swap tires, so it's going to be all at the same time. But, yeah, pretty much 2, 3 laps, they're going to come in, and they're probably going to do 1 or 2 pit stops, maybe a second if they're really close to the end, but they may want to risk trying to stay out 1 more lap.
Well, we'll see what happens. Only 10 minutes to make those decisions. Times are starting to come in now. I'll let a few more come in. Let this timing tree settle down here. Of course, yeah, right as I say that, someone jumps all the way to the top. If looks could kill with a 131.555. Crawler, well, never mind. This stinks. Boise, I'm gonna just stop talking until you guys really settle down. Stop it. Okay, I think the last person has crossed the line here. AMS Lookie with a 131.4, way up there. Distinct Boise is right behind with a 131.470. AMS and Distinct have been racing together and against each other for many years in this game now. If looks could kill with a 131.5, it's super close up top. VIP's Crawler is also in the 131s with a .982. Top 5 right now is S7R's Racing, Mr. Racing 40 in 5th with a 132 flat. So here is Distinct's Boise. Okay, that's not a pen. I wondered. It looked like you went a little wide, but I think you can go wide there. It's a bit lenient around there, but take a look at that Ferrari. That looks like some incredibly mean machinery. Loving the livery there, and you know, good luck to him. We've got Bandit, who's just set a new lap time, but still not popping up in the top 8. Moose jumps into P6 there. Top 5 has changed as well. Shahir, VIP, with the VIP is coming with a 131.8. It's still changing, guys. We've still got plenty of time here. Slow-mo. We're starting to see people already jump into the pits to take tires here. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I don't even have a real question there.
No, that's okay. You know, I mean, if you're me, I would almost take that first lap and burn through, and I have not seen anybody do that through any of our qualifying, just to lighten up that car. Hubbard, tell me, is that not the best, or is that not? Oh, it looks like.
Oh, wait a minute, we got a crash here. No, Rusty! Rusty with a crash heading into the descent to the lake. Let's see if we've already missed it, but there's definitely a wall hit there. Oh, wow, barely avoids getting slammed into, getting T-bone as he rejoins the track there, maybe trying to get out of the way inside of a corner. Unfortunately, Rusty's gonna have to go into pit. It's an opportunity to go ahead and take some fresh tires and start over. There is still time in this qualifier, but right now he's gonna have to warm up tires. Do we think, realistically, I think he'll get 2 laps if he can get back into the pits quickly here. But Rusty is gonna try to really hard to make up time. Who's that with a penalty back there? Is that P4? It's someone with a Rexy livery. That's Bandit, I think. Oh, Jorge. What's up, Jorge? No, Jogal, I'm sorry. I thought Jorge wasn't racing. It is not Jorge, it's Jogal. I feel like we've seen this livery here. It's the Rexy replica with the gold tooth, but just a little bit different. Jogal will go ahead and pit. It's, you know, you take a penalty, that lap is scrubbed. It's time to go ahead and change tires. We see a bunch of people in the pits here. However, I've noticed, obviously what we see on screen right now, Voidsy, Crawler, Super Stupido, and VIP Scale. Now AMS Lookie. Have we seen anyone else pit that maybe I missed?
I don't believe so. I think all these guys are the ones that are currently on track are just, trying to go to possibly the end. Those last few laps could be a little bit off the mark in terms of being able to get a better lap time. But most of the people have pit all at the same time. So this is really we're going to see two kind of groups develop. The pit stoppers, and then the ones that want to stay out and try to risk going out longer to not need to go into the pits and get a few extra hot laps under their belt.
Yeah, well, they'll be out of time to try to do that anyway, so they have no choice but to stay out. Now, the first of our pitters are out. That's Crawler, and then right behind him, I believe that was Shahir in the yellow. So they're going to take their out laps and try not to scrub those tires too much while trying to warm them up. And a penalty, oh, that's not what you want right there. When you're running out of time around here, that's going to ruin both this lap and the next lap for Shahir, unfortunately there. I'm not Shahir, I'm sorry, I don't know who that was. That was VIP player. He's gonna go ahead and pit, probably just park it. I don't think that he'll be able to pit, take tires, and get out in time to get a hot lap. So that's probably done for them there. Looking at Voidsy, sits in P3, hasn't quite regained that pole position that they had, I think, for a moment there. Looky pulling up and killing that dream immediately. If Looks Could Kill has probably parked it for the end here, gonna settle and trust that that P2 is there, or at least that he won't fall too much further. Let's see where Looky comes in. That's Looky coming through the final corners. Well, we're staring at Jagal right now, but I do want to see where Looky will finish. Got it. Doesn't improve, but still gets on pole, and hopefully doesn't need that insurance. But it's not a big gap there. If Looks Could Kill has come back out, but surely can't get a fast lap going, I don't think. We're looking at not Crawler, who probably is Crawler, in P5 there, still on a this is a fast lap for Crawler, so trying to see if they can improve their time here. Fresh softs for them. We'll see where they end up. And we have quite a few drivers who are still out here. If Looks Could Kill on an out lap, not gonna cross the line in time to get a fast lap, I don't think. They've got 30 seconds left to do it, and they're still getting through like kind of the end of that second sector. Well, maybe, I don't know. Hit the turbo button. Jogal. This is going to be Jogal coming around for a final chance. Currently sits in P4 with Barney the Dinosaur, aka Purple Rexy. You're gonna keep that line nice and tight. That's right. Cut the pit there. Cut as much as you can and see what you can get out of it. Jogal will cross the line. Improves personal best by only about 14 hundredths of a second, and isn't going to improve in position. Voidsy takes P1 away from Looky with a 131.3. That's insane. Didn't see that coming, but of course I wasn't really looking for it. So a big upset at the end of qualifying here, and Voidsy should have the inside for turn 1, and so AMS Looky likely not happy about this. I think, P2 is pretty susceptible to being attacked under attack in turn 1 around here. Slow-mo, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, turn 1 is, as we've seen, it's very crucial as you're coming off the start finish, and you gotta have yourself a good position. Don't be surprised to see a lot of this field go too wide through the first couple turns with this Division 1 group.
I won't be surprised at all. We saw it with Division 2. I don't see that changing with these guys. We're gonna watch Crawler here as he comes through the final set of corners. This is all full throttle, and hopefully got a good run out of that second to last corner there. I don't see that. I think that was Shahir trying to improve time. I don't think he did. Moose just crossed the line. Where's Crawler? I missed something. The camera did a weird thing that I missed. I'm so sorry. So I don't think Crawler moved up. He stayed in P6. Moose here is already done. I think everyone is finished. I don't see any fast moving arrows. So that will be the official end of qualifying in our session, and we'll go to the provisional results here in 1 second for you. Just gonna wait for that timer to fully run down and let us out of here. All right. So another exciting qualifier, of course, a last minute jump, just like Lyric did for Division II. Slow-mo, to your point, I think you're right. I think we're gonna see a whole lot of 2x2 in the first few corners here. It's not recommended, but it's always fun to do and very difficult to do. And probably matters a little bit less here. You know, we've talked about the strategy. There will be a stop for the most part for most drivers. We don't see anyone really trying the no stopper. And so, you know, drivers will be a little bit more willing to go at it in these earlier and even some of the middle laps. And I, for one, can't wait to see it, of course. Let's take a look at the results. In fact, Hover, would you mind reading where these drivers will be starting?
Of course, as we saw, Distinct Voidsy able to take away provisional pole from AMS Lookie, despite Lookie actually improving, both getting 31.3s, of course the advantage going to Voidsy. In third place, If Looks Could Kill with a 31.4. 31.5 belongs to Doodle, which earns him P4. P5, Drogal with a 31.5 as well. VIP Knotcrawler in P6. Moose, the MMR driver, able to take P7 with a 31.7. And VIP Shahir with a P8, nabbing a 31.8. And then going on to the second side, Supacito in 9th, and then VIP JP scale in 10th, both nabbing 59.9s. The last 31 nines. S7R Mr. Racing in 11th, 31.9. His S7R teammate in Rusty Maggots in 12th. VIP player with a 132.2 in 13th, and then Wicco 14th with a 32.2 with the Ferrari rounding out the grid.
All right, well, let's take a look at our driver standing so far. And much like Division 2, nobody stands anywhere because nobody has any points. Now, of course, they will have qualified in whatever position they qualified in, but tonight is the first chance to earn points, and every point counts is one of the big things in this league. For the team championship, it is much the same. All 7 teams with no points. It's a blank slate. We're starting all over again. You know, many of these drivers have raced each other before and raced each other over and over again, but this league is a whole new beast. So let's see how they do here. Well, all right. If the Division 2 race was anything to go by, if the names that we know are anything to go by, we can expect an action-packed race. I have been brought a tumbler of tea, and I hope that you, my fellow commentators, have figured out however you're going to, you know, support your voices through what's about to happen. There you go, Slow-mo, you got it. Hover, I know you're not on camera. I'm going to assume that you have something that's not like
Oh, right. Absolutely. These, you know, it may look easy from an outsider's look, but this does take a strain on our voices, and hydration is key.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it's a good problem to have, though, right? Drivers that, you know, give you a lot of action to talk about. It's probably exactly what the VIP league was, the VIP team rather, was looking for when they created this league. And so far, we haven't disappointed. Not from pre-quali all the way through the races. 0 disappointments, no notes, actually. I'm here for it. We'll be on track soon, I expect. So we're, of course, gonna, I think those are manually set. The grid is manually set. Give the drivers a chance to also take a break, cool down in their cars or outside of their cars, however their team lets them do it. So we got just a few seconds here before we're on track. Another grid start. This time, these are cars that it's a little bit harder to keep that grip. So we're going to see how folks get off the line here. Not many of these drivers will be using traction control. So let's see what's up. We are looking at Voidsy, who is in first place. The timing seems to be off, but it doesn't matter. The lights are up and they're away. Looky with an excellent run. Both Porsches, both of the AMS Porsches with a huge launch off the line. They absolutely dog walk Voidsy into turn 1. Looky leads If Looks Could Kill And then behind them, of course, Voidsy in that first Ferrari, who is already being hounded by Not Crawler. So a weird start there for Voidsy in the lone Ferrari in the top 4, maybe even in the top 5, and he's already getting driven around by Not Crawler back there. If looks could kill, not making a move on AMS Lifty, I think that was just to get out of slip and get some air on that front splitter for some braking power. But behind, we see a change for position. Not Crawler in the 3rd, Moose in the 4th. Voidsy falls into 5th, but it's still fighting back on Moose and now sits in 4th place here. And I think, yeah, Moose is able to hold on to 5th, but Doodlebob is right there in 6th place. There's so much going on, but I think towards the back, we're a little bit more settled in, line of stern for what we're seeing. And what looks like a real pack of Skittles, yeah, Hovercraft?
Absolutely, these cars have all tangled up with one another. Moose able to get up to P5, briefly up to P4, but Voidsy is able to get back up a little bit. But yes, a lot of more positions to be able to recover to get back to his P1 position. Voidsy getting a little bit out of shape out of Launchpad.
Yeah, I don't know if he expected that launch out of the Porsches there, because that was insane, but it has to be an advantage that that car has. So we'll see. We're coming back into turn 1 for the first time around. This is a huge spot for attacking. P1 and P2, we probably don't expect to see much fighting. They will be looking to work together to hopefully get away from Not Crawler here with Team VIP. That is the first person they need to worry about, of course, getting around Voidsy along with some of the other Porsches. I think Voidsy is still possibly under attack. No, that's Moose under attack by Doodlebob. Moose is going to lose P5 and get into P6. The purple Skittle goes first, and that's a pass done before it got dangerous. So well done. Ooh, Doodlebob out wide and onto the curb there. You kind of got to be careful about getting back on the throttle when that happens. That lets Moose come back alongside, but Doodlebob has the better line coming up towards that 2nd sector, and I think that's pass done. We'll hang on for a second because the pressure is still on. None of these drivers want to give up track position so early on, and again, we see that most of them are going to be pitted. I've got mediums, pretty much is all I've seen so far. I haven't obviously seen everyone's tires, but mediums seem to be the tire of choice thus far. This battle for 5th starting to settle down. We got a little bit of twitching here, just a netcode glitch. Unfortunately, probably won't go away, but I promise you these cars aren't moving around as much as you think. Ooh, Jogao almost loses it. So easy to do in these cars. Slow-mo, you got to be careful on the throttle on the powerful GT3 machine.
Yeah, and as we look back, what
kind of caught it, not really, but you kind of barely see it there. Scary stuff. Sorry, Slow-mo, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, great job keeping his composure there and getting his traction back underneath him, and you know, heading back up that hill. That was really well done.
Yeah, so easy to do out there. It's almost muscle memory to just catch it right when that happens. Especially if you've driven around this track a lot in powerful rear-wheel drive machinery, you've definitely dipped the wheel on the outside of that turn, and you just kind of, you're always ready to catch it. Honestly, you're just always there, and Jogal really showing experience and seat time catching it, and I don't even think lost the position, you know, got right back in that slipstream line. As we see Voidsy making his way back up the order. He is P4 and has been for a little bit here, but he is right on the back of this line for P1. So Void is with RPM Bandits. Qualified 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, and his team overall qualified in 2nd. That's RPM Bandits, which I believe is a mix of AMS and Distinct Drivers, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, Voidsy right back into contention with that Ferrari. However, you said that you thought the Porsche had a little bit of an advantage around here. Is that basically what happened to Voidsy?
Most certainly so. I think his poor launch, I will say, most of his poor launch, I believe, was due to poor reaction times. I think the glitch that we saw that claimed the last place driver being in 1st place caught him out. But yes, I do think that the Porsche has a little bit of an advantage in terms of outright pace. as well as tire conservation. The Porsche just seems to slide perfectly around Interlagos, while the Ferrari has much of a tighter margin to be able to perform to the same level of the Porsche, meaning that the Porsche is just overall easier to drive for the same amount of pace, and I think that's why we see a lot of drivers gravitating towards that car tonight.
Yeah, it does seem to be really popular. Not as much of a mix of the two cars as we saw in the Division II race. It does seem to have calmed down for now, but obviously everyone pretty much driving in each other's back seats. There could be action at any moment. But for now, Slow-Mo, if you had to pick between these two, based on your style of driving, would it be the Porsche? Would it be the Ferrari?
You know, I really enjoy driving both of these cars. It would be somewhat of a coin flip, although, you know, I know for a fact after listening to Hover, the Porsche is probably going to suit me better, just being a little bit more grounded.
I got you. You know what? I think as you grow, you kind of change, and I realize I used to love a very stable, predictable car. I just figure out how to turn it. You know what I mean? We'll make it happen, point and shoot, but you know, more and more I find myself gravitating towards cars that rotate a little bit more. They're a little bit scarier, but they're fun, and they probably just are masking some really bad braking and turning habits that I have by being tail happy, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? My teammate, Mr. Racing, in 14th place with damage. I can't. Did something happen here? Do we have a replay or anything like that? We missed it. So he's in last place by 5 points. I mean, a good amount of racing left to catch up, but with everyone being in each other's slipstream, he's absolutely caught out here at Laguna Seca. However, is there anything he can do, like any strategy change, any pit stop changes he can make to try to get back at least some points?
The most I could recommend to him is just try to possibly go for his first and only pit stop, most likely, much earlier than the rest of the grid. That way he has just open air, and while he may have to fight the tires dying out on the last laps, he will have the ability to at least get track position. But that far back, the situation looks a bit dire for his chances in recouping.
I gotcha. Yeah, and that's actually great advice. I mean, sometimes you got to play games with it, right? Maybe you're right. Go ahead and pit way earlier. Come out in traffic, even possibly, you know, and not try to burn those tires up, but just be in the way. Sometimes your game is to slow everybody else down. Keep them behind you. We saw how well you were able to defend from the front, even with worn tires. With oh my gosh, who was it? Element in the last race. Had the worst tires in the group, but held out 4 cars behind him for P4 there. So maybe there's a chance there for Mr. Racing. Hope you're listening, bro. Good luck. We got you. P4, P1 through 4, rather. Still line astern. I don't see anyone really making a move. I think we are squarely in that conserve and look for opportunities phase of the race here. A bit more mature approach, as Voidsy, I think, had a little oversteer there. Or maybe that was just some of that glitching. Yeah, that's what that was. He's fine. He hasn't lost any time. But yeah, Slow-Mo, we're looking at a little bit of a more mature approach to the race here. Not as much action as Division II. But what is it about this division and this particular race that you think may be causing that?
Well, you know, it is a much longer race. As you guys have talked about, there is definitely a pit stop. So, you know, these guys are probably trying to maintain their tires for a little bit to give them that opportunity to battle a little bit later on.
Yep, that sounds about right to me. Again, more powerful machinery. Probably, are these heavier than the GR4s? I mean, I know they're physically bigger, but they're also more likely to be made of more carbon fiber than anything else. But I think GT3s are lighter than GR4s because GR4s are true production-based race cars. And maybe, Hover, if you don't already have the answer, I don't know, look it up for me. Can you compare the Porsche GT3's weight to the GR4 on the wiki?
I will do my best.
The reason I'm asking is I want to know how these guys will probably be on their tires versus the GR4. The GR4 moves around more, and if it's also heavier, it obviously doesn't stand a chance. But these drivers seem to be doing well with the mediums. They're lasting. We're at lap 7, and they look pretty good. I don't know. Rusty Maggots in P12 all over the back of, who is that? Wicco, sorry. Wicco back there. Some of you may know him as Wicco. I can't pronounce what his name is displaying right now, but we know him around this circle as Wicco, and he's got an S7R driver squarely in his rearview mirror and not letting him go. Of course, just ahead of them is P10, so maybe we'll see a little less aggression than we normally would if the car ahead wasn't right there in sight. Probably easier to help each other get up there, maybe get a bit of slip. Since we're so early in the race, there's no real need to fight here. There we go. There's Rusty's car. Rusty Maggots with the S7R Titans. He qualified in 23rd. S7R overall qualified in 4th. So the team really pulling him up there. Slow-mo, you watched most of the qualifying there. In fact, I think you were there when the Titans qualified doing commentary. What do you remember about their quality session?
Oh, I'm a little caught up in the race right now, and I'm sorry, I'm not recalling exactly what that qualifying session entailed.
No worries, no worries. You saw a lot of them, and ultimately there's a lot of cars going around and around the same exact track, so no worries there. I did notice that the S7R livery appeared a few times, not always with S7R drivers behind the wheel, but that's a whole different conversation. This line, 1st through 4th, I mean, we've got Crawler in there, of course. We've got P3 and hasn't lost it. Crawler with the RPM Bandits, 5th qualifying position and 2nd for the entire team there. RPM incredibly fast. Not Crawler, jumped into P3 behind Lookie, and if looks could kill at the very start of the race. I mean, basically before T1, he was there alongside them. And Boise's still on a recovery drive to try and get back into pole position after Hover, I think you said he might have been caught out by that glitch. He did seem to have a slow reaction there.
Absolutely.
Look how quickly you get to P1 after crossing the line, Ooh, not Crawler. Is this netcode? What is going on? A little bit of a tap with if looks could kill. Not Crawler will take P2. I'm not sure if that was outbreaking. Let's see what we've got here. Here's Not Crawler. He's in the slip and he breaks and he doesn't quite make the apex. There is some netcode there, but clearly he doesn't touch the apex. He's out wide. If looks could kill, would have been trying to avoid going too far outside in that corner and ultimately gets bumped out anyway. And now is under attack by Boise, who sees an opportunity to take this position back, won't be able to. If looks could kill, absolutely shuts the door on any of that. Man, what do we make of what just happened there, Slow-Mo? Do you give the position back or do you race on?
No, I think at this point you race on. If it needs to go, to the stewards, then let it be.
Fair enough. You're right. Sometimes self-policing is quite obvious, but in the case where there's a little bit of a netcode issue there, I would always take the risk of letting it go to the stewards and just, let them be the judge of what happened there. You race on and see what you can salvage. If looks could kill is not slow, also, they've lost some time, they've lost the slipstream for sure, but Lookie could probably do what he needs to do to back the Crawler right back up to him if need be, and get his teammate back. I think team games like that are 100% on and are kind of the point of this league. However, is that a good idea? Do you kind of back the guy behind you up into your teammate, or do you just, hey, teammate, you got to catch up?
It's definitely a strategy worth at least considering. It's just obviously you're going to be risking the worst scenario happening with the Crawler taking P1 away and those two AMS drivers having to work together to try to get back up to the Crawler. But it's definitely worth a shot, especially once you're nearing the pit stop phase where you can afford to lose that time since you're already going to go into the pits. Definitely worth an attempt, especially this early on in the season. All these points really do matter. especially when you don't know what the future might entail. So any chance of getting some extra points for your team is definitely a good strategy to try to attempt. And going back to your GT4 versus GT3 question, yes, the GT4 Cayman is heavier than the GT3 by roughly 100 pounds.
Got it. Well, that tells us what we need to know about that. So 100 pounds is significant in race car terms, and so that matters. And why don't we take a look at everyone's tires while we're talking about the weights and the effects on their tires. So we'll come up to P1. We've got AMS Lookie on those racing mediums. The front's starting to get a little warm, about a third of the way down there. The rear's fairly even to that, but seeing a little less wear, pretty typical for Interlagos here. The crawler behind, it almost looks identical. I'd say he's got a little more front left, or left-hand side, period, than Lookie does. I don't know what that's about. Maybe just taking... He also just set the absolute fastest lap so far with a 132.3. I'm sure the slipstream up that entire backstretch helped, but putting Lookie on notice. Flips Hill is now 2.3 seconds back. He's lost time, if anything. His racing mediums look almost the same. The left-hand side, not as great as what the not crawler's been able to do. Voidzy's tire, I would say almost twins. It's interesting how they've changed just a little bit. That rear left has a little more meat than what we're seeing on the Porsches. We're looking at Doodle Bob here, and actually his rear left looks pretty good, but par for the course for most folks around here. Moose 21 also on those mediums, same story. Let's go on the Super Speedo in the second Porsche that we see. Yeah, everyone's tires look almost the same. That's JP Scale, Jogal, Shahir, Wicco. I don't see anything different. Rusty Maggots, Mr. Racing, same mediums. Mr. Racing does have that splitter damage, that front splitter damage, and so does VIP Player. And VIP even has suspension damage in the front left, but I'm not seeing any difference in tire wear for these drivers at all. VIP opting to stay out, I guess, and not fix that damage. Maybe we're approaching pit stop phases, and actually, yes, we're approaching lap 15 here in just a couple of laps. So I guess slow-mo, it probably wouldn't be worth it to fix that damage at this point, even as aero dependent as this track is.
No, I mean, I guess it depends on which strat he's on, but no, I don't think it is. I think you keep on with your strat and you just keep rolling forward. If he's going medium, he'll be, splitting a lap right in half and dipping into the pits here in 3 more laps, 2 more laps, something like that. If he's going on that soft strategy, he's going to have to run with that damage for, a few extra laps over that.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I would imagine he's probably on the medium going super long, not going super long with all of that damage. I don't see that being worth it. So you're right, probably will dip in soon. Now some will go long. Voidsy taking a ride in the grass. We've seen a couple of moments that looked like moments that really weren't before, though. Something about the net code. We'll get a replay to see if something actually happened. Both of them just dipping a wheel, no biggie, nobody oversteering or anything like that. Again, I do think that just a little bit of a skip in knowing what position the cars are actually in for the server. And that's why they're kind of skipping around. It's just a minute lag in the transmittance of the information of where exactly the car is on the track. So we're fine here. Voidsy, P4, unable to change anything about that. Doodlebob, Moose, Super Speedo, JP Scale, all following each other, and I think even P9 was in there as well. I think after the pit stops, after this first set of pits, and certainly towards the end of the race when we have the long runners, I think that's when we're going to start to see some action. Hovercraft right now, everyone is really being nice to each other. I don't like it, but that's why I'm in the booth and I'm not out there racing. After the pit stops, do you agree it's going to get crazy?
Absolutely. I think for right now, they're just trying to, bide their time, trying to save the resources that they can. Hopefully into the pit stop phase, some of these guys are able to jump their competitors up ahead by having to take less fuel, because this does require a little bit of fuel saving, or else you are going to have to take some fuel into the pit stop phase. Not by much, we're only saying, up to 5, maybe 10 liters if you're really pushing it. But you are going to expect to take a little bit of fuel unless you want to do a lot of fuel saving. But like I said, that also brings in the chances of jumping people into the pit stop phase, which really do matter. And then obviously, of course, as the dying laps begin, that's where these guys really are going to use all the resources that they have at their disposal and try to claim their final positions.
I got you. Yeah, hard to strike that balance between saving fuel, and jumping in the pits at a track where track position matters so much, right? Being able to get in front of somebody, even if it means you have to drive slower, is still an advantage around here. Because again, we've seen how easy it is to defend, but it's also a track that's not easy on fuel. So do you fuel up enough to fight and not have to compromise, where you're shifting, or do you attempt to make a jump and hopefully defend your spot on track? It will depend on, I think, the temperament of the drivers, how the race has gone for them thus far. We're going to see a good mix of all of it. I just love that there are so many viable strategies, not just within the two that we've already named, but the actual sub strategies between them, right? You still have the fuel to play besides the tire wear, and of course you have the temperaments of the drivers around you. This is a track where if you have an aggressive opponent, it matters. In some tracks it doesn't bother you too much, but this is one where being offline by just a little bit matters a lot. Slow-mo, it helps to know who you are with. So many of these drivers have raced together before. When you're racing, how much of that comes to play for you?
Well, they don't call me slow for any other reason than I just try to keep up. So, when I'm on track, I try not to get in anybody's way, but, there is that level of comfort, and that's the interesting thing with the team dynamic that we have out here. If you can get in front of or behind one of your teammates, there's that level of trust that's there. They're not going to bump you. They're not going to challenge you too hard in a bad spot. So that can really be a good advantage if you're running with one of your teammates here.
That's right. Doodle Bob's going to jump in here right at the start of lap 15. I do believe he finished 14. I think you crossed the line before you actually hit the box around here. So technically he is going to start lap 15 here. So he jumps in first, maybe looking to undercut somebody. I'm not exactly sure where he was when he jumped in, but maybe he felt he could do something about his track position. Yeah, he looks like he was in 5th place. That's right. And so he was in that huge run of cars there. So maybe looking to get out of traffic and hopefully get a bit of an undercut on those other cars who were all following one another. We'll see how that works out for him. Still out is basically everyone else. I haven't seen anyone else jump in. You can see the pit lane on the map in the upper right-hand corner there, and nobody is in it. It's an incredibly slow pit stop around here. We saw... I'm sorry, that was a whole different race. That was IRO this morning. But you don't want to have to jump in and take a splash of fuel, is what I was getting at. The pit stop around here is so penalizing that I have to imagine that people are going to err on the side of caution and take as much fuel as they need to be able to rev these cars out. I just don't see it changing. So let's see what happens when everyone pits. We're working lap 16 now, and I'm surprised to not see more people jumping in hovercraft. It looks like folks are trying to go long and jump to the soft.
Yep, that's exactly what we're seeing. These guys want to push these mediums up to bare minimum lap 18, but I feel like most of these drivers are going to come in around the lap 20. Some of these guys have been fuel saving quite a lot. We saw Doodle Bob only take 2 liters of fuel, which is pretty much in range. Some of these guys will probably not even take any fuel because that's how much fuel they've been saving, but most of them will probably take a few extra liters once they go into the pit stop phase. And then it's going to be more of a battle of attrition, who can handle the softs correctly to be able to make them last to the end, but also extract the most amount of pace that is available to them.
That's right, and once you pit, you're not guaranteed to come back out in traffic like this and maybe get a bit of help with fuel saving. So even those who have saved a lot of fuel may want to consider, can I actually make it to the end on what I have, whether or not I have a slipstream partner? Those are all things that they will have calculated closely with the amount of practice that they've done with teammates, the amount of data they've gathered, and of course, just experience and knowing what has happened for the last 16, 17, 18 laps, depending on when they jump in. So that was Moose and Super Speedo still not jumping in the pits. They've been leading this mid-pack, 5th through, looks like 9th for a while now, 5th through 7th rather, with JP Scale rounding it out. Super Speedo a little bit alongside Moose's rear fender there for a second, but I don't think the move was on, and sure enough, Moose stays ahead. But I think Super Speedo's starting to get a little bit impatient here. Moose feels it. He takes a tight line to try to keep Super Speedo out of his slipstream. He stubbornly holds the defensive line there, forcing Super Speedo to make an attempt around the outside. Keeps a nice tight line through there. Moose easily defending through there, and that's what I mean. You can be slower, but Interlagos will save you. You know, it is your ultimate defensive partner. It is a defensive end. It is on the line for you. You just got to know how to use it. It's a track where it's really easy to make a car incredibly wide, Slow-Mo. You talked about being slow. Are you defensive, or are you really just trying to stay out of the way?
Generally speaking, I can get defensive if it's getting towards the end of the race. If we're early on, I'm going to let somebody buy it if they're really, hunting on that bumper bad.
Heard. Those of you who have heard me do commentary a lot, and if you were watching IRO this morning, you know I'm the opposite. I'm going to hold you up now. I don't care if there's absolutely no chance that I can beat you. I just want to slow you down. It'll be fun. So Interlagos is a fun track for me, even when I'm not the best at it. Super Speedo gives up on that and jumps into the pits here. So maybe the first of the long stoppers here. And like you said, lap 18 at the max for these drivers. He's going to also try to get out of this traffic, get the undercut, and hopefully get some good fast laps on the softs. It definitely would be worth it to have the clean air to get them done in. I think we're going to start seeing Moose and JP Scale and others go ahead and pit to cover off that undercut. However, what do you think?
Absolutely, they need to cover off Super Speedo right now, but as well as Doodlebob. Remember, he went into the pits on lap 15, and while he is taking another set of mediums, he has plenty of open air and no pressure to be able to clock in those lap times. So these guys, all competing realistically for P5, they need to be able to respond to Super Speedo as well as Doodlebob immediately. So expect at least one of these drivers to go into the pits at the end of this lap.
That's correct. And with, you're right, Doodlebob being on the mediums, I forgot about that. He will have fresher rubber longer, and if he comes out of the pits ahead of them, because he's been getting these fast laps so far, then they're definitely in trouble. They're going to be stuck behind him, burning up those softs. You're going to have to get aggressive, which is hard to do around here. Our leaders are in. Looky, Crawler, not Boydzy. He goes ahead. He's looking for an overcut. If Looks Could Kill is in, but Boydzy looking to see if maybe with some clean air he can get away from those Porsches and make something happen. Everyone else has pitted. It looks like just a line of hitters here. Different fuel amounts. Looky has saved so much fuel. He's got 45%. So as If Looks Could Kill, the AMS drivers really with an advantage there. Not Crawler was their closest competitor, and he had way less fuel, and you can see he is still putting gas in that car. Sure enough, the top two coming out on the racing softs. I expect everyone here is coming out on the softs. Boydzy has taken a big gamble that, I hope will play out for him. I mean, we'll see what he's able to put down as his in-lap here, as I imagine he's not going to stay out too much longer. It won't be a 2-lap overcut for sure. He's coming through the second sector now. Doesn't look great. Those fronts are a bit worn, obviously, and so he's really just trying to see what he can put together and hope that even after he pits, he's not coming out in too much traffic. I don't know, Slow-Mo, the way the Porsches were kind of bodying him, I don't really know if it matters if he has fresher tires in the end, but maybe the goal is just to be ahead of them and hopefully defend.
Yeah, it's possible, and as we see Boydzy go into the pit now, maybe he just wanted to take advantage of that clean air for a lap there. It's hard to say.
Yep. Well, he comes in with 38% fuel versus the 43, 44, somewhere around that Looky and If Looks Could Kill had. Now, those top three drivers, the AMS drivers and VIPs, not Crawler, are coming through those final corners now. Voidsy is still in the pits and has come out on softs, so that means he's come out of his box at least. But he is going through that incredibly slow pit out section, and he's not going to jump. He's going to come out, you know, in the end of this straight here. And he comes out ahead of Crawler, does he? He's in P3, and yeah, that's Crawler right there. So Voidsy gains a position and avoids ending up behind Doodlebob even. So VIP, not Crawler, gonna have to fight back here. Voidsy's got cold tires for now, so not Crawler probably wants to put together a heck of a lap here so he can at least challenge. But Voidsy gets it done, gets a position on him. The AMS boys seem to be gone though. Can we take a look at that gap? It's 2.6 between Looky and If Looks Could Kill, and then it's 4.6 to Voidsy. Luckily, he came out in clean air. Maybe he can put some laps together and go catch them. But right now, he's back on the podium, Hovercraft.
Yep, and it's just kind of working his way into the race, right? He wanted to do one extra lap out on the mediums because he probably looked at the Crawler going in and saw he had significant less fuel than the rest of the grid, meaning that he's pushing his car a lot more. So most likely, Voidsy, being in P4 before the pit stop phase, probably said, listen, I'm not going to be able to realistically challenge P1, P2, or at least it won't be easy. Let me extend by one lap, bank on the fact that the Crawler is going to try to push his car very quickly, and let me get an advantage in terms of having my softs fresher towards the end of the race. If the Crawler is going to push harder, let him. He's going to have worse tires on the closing laps than me. I'll be in the defensive position. The race will be more in my favor towards the end of the race, as long as I can stay ahead of the Crawler.
Well, let's see if that does work out for him. I mean, some quick thinking there to put that together, and it does seem like it's going to be a go. Now, we just saw a huge line of cars. You can even look on the map in the upper right-hand corner. Lots of arrows together, which means a lot of these drivers still came out in some traffic. We're looking at Moose down at P10 somehow. Not sure if that was a pit stop thing or what, but he was leading that group of cars in P5. I don't see any damage on the car, so if some incident happened, luckily it hasn't affected pace, but losing 5 positions all of a sudden really doesn't make any sense. I don't think I saw how much fuel he came in with. Did you maybe make a note of that, Slow-Mo, when it came in? It was a whole group of cars that came in together.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Got it. I mean, he couldn't have been 5 positions worth behind in fuel, but who knows? Unfortunately, he is down there right now. Super Sapido still came out in traffic. He's behind Jogal now instead of Moose, and I think he was fighting for P5 with Moose, and now looking to get through P7. So maybe had to spend a little bit more time in the pits there. He does get the pass done on Jogal through turn 1, so that is a pass for position. We're gonna take another look at it here. Just gets a really good run towards P1. He's already way alongside. In fact, ahead of Jogal by the time they hit the brakes. He's able to keep it tight on the apex. We saw him do that before in the battle, and that's pass done easily into the center S's. So left says, sorry, you guys can't see that, but these two are teammates, Supa and Jogal. I didn't realize that, so they probably won't fight too hard, but how many team orders are we really seeing this early on in a league of a craft? What do you think? You think they're gonna fight it out, or they're gonna be cool?
I think overall, yes, it looks like Supacito has the pace advantage over Jogal at the moment, especially with Doodlebob out in P5, not too far away from this train, but they still have 8 laps to be able to gain some extra ground. Not quite sure if they're going to be able to do it, as we see Doodlebob going out onto the grass. Not great for his hopes. But yeah, right now, Supacito seems to be the one with the pace advantage. If towards the end of the race he isn't able to gain any positions, I wouldn't be surprised if an order comes through to return the position.
Yeah, that totally makes sense there. Well, you know, we'll keep an eye out and see what happens between teammates. This is a big team championship. We've already said that, so you know we know that much, and they are teammates. All three of the purple cars are with the Ghosts team. So maybe they'll be more friendly to each other. Mr. Racing is P13, hasn't really gained too much. I think it was P14 when we checked previously. The back of the pack just really spread out, nothing exciting happening there. But these drivers will still continue to finish out the race because, again, every finishing position matters, every point matters, and there's so many rounds that you get it done. Ooh, look at this. What do we have? Going for P7. That is two of the Ghosts, Supa and Jogal, together, and then Shahir chasing them down. Team VIP a little bit spread out. Shahir's not been able to get anywhere near the Crawler to have any sort of team shenanigans happening. Crawler's been all alone up there, but Shahir has been plugging away in the mid pack and now has two tasty morsels in front of him to try to go after. These two are teammates, Slow-Mo, so they're probably not going to fight in front of you. So you're going to have to figure this out on outright pace. It doesn't feel like Shahir has found a huge advantage over the cars around him, though. What do you think?
No, not just yet. And, you know, it looks like he's just trying to kind of get into the slip there to try and maybe get a little bit of catch up, which he has done. Close that gap quite a bit between him and Joe Dahl. So let's see if he's going to put some pressure on these guys up to some of the next first section here, maybe going into section 2.
Yeah, well, here's hoping. You got to do what you can do. We're coming into the closing laps of this race. Lap 24 of 30 is what we're working now. Of course, we race until the final lap. There's no early pit or anything like that, so it is a full 5.5 or so laps left for these drivers here as they come through the second or start the second sector for one of the final times in the race. By now, you're absolutely sick of these corners. If you've got a wheel and it is a direct drive wheel, you're exhausted through here. Just at this point, just trying to finish the race out. However, I think you've got a direct drive wheel, so you probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I have a Logitech G29, so I actually get mercied in this section. Obviously, I would like the shiny direct drive wheel, and I'm hoping to nab one before the next NRL season. But yeah, I mean, during that section, you're absolutely right. Your arms get very tired just going left, right, in the 10,000 or so hairpins. But, you know, it does give you the advantage of feeling more to the ground, more to the road ahead of you, and it's still overall fun, especially when you go side by side with somebody.
It is, but it's quite a workout. Hold on to that G29 for as long as you can. I'm looking at my old P300 right now. Like, why don't I just plug you in? We could just go back to the way things were instead of grinding it out with a direct drive wheel. But Shahir not making any sort of headway on the two purple cars. So, you know, he's got another VIP driver just ahead of him there in JP Scale, but can't quite get up to his teammate. JP, of course, has to run his own race. He's got his own ghost to chase. You guys are chasing ghosts. There should be a song about this. There is a song about this, okay? The battle between P5 down to P8, I believe we should go ahead and make a track, personally. Slow-Mo, music-wise, I'm going to completely change the subject. What are your musical tastes?
My musical taste, oh boy, I don't know anybody wants to hear that, but I'm an electronic dance music kind of guy, but you know, being a DJ, I like pretty much everything. So, you know, it's not about what I like, it's about what my crowd wants to hear.
Fair enough. That is fair enough. Right now, these drivers are kind of seeing what the crowd wants to, or giving us what the crowd wants to see. I want to see a little bit more fighting. We're running out of time here, so I'm ready for folks to stop being nice to each other, but I get it. You know, there's only so much grip that those softs have to give, and you gotta save it. Is this a pass for not second to last? Perhaps Rusty into P11. We didn't see the pass, but I think that was actually Wicca trying to make something happen. Why is Wicca falling so far down the order though? Where was Wicca when we last saw him? Hovercraft, do you remember? Oh,
It was a little bit far back. Yeah, around 12.
Okay. Got it. I don't know why I thought I saw him sooner. Maybe I'm thinking about one of the yellow cars, or gold rather, VIP card. So, Wicco all over the back of Mr. Racing for P11. Why not? Try to get there. Wherever the battle is, you have the battle. It just is what it is. And sometimes the battle is P11. We love to see it. Rusty not really making too many defensive moves here, but we'll see what happens between them. Back to the battle for 7th here. They are starting to lose touch with the cars ahead. JP Scale, who was chasing I can't remember, another one of the ghost drivers in the helmet, Doodle Bob. They're starting to get away from these three, the three behind them. But I think this might still come back together. I mean, they're just all so close to one another. It's a fantastic team battle here. Do we have anything exciting happening up front? Looky, if looks could kill. Boise remains in P3. I don't know if he's gotten any closer. Quick run through the field here. Looky with 2 seconds to his teammate if looks could kill. He's got 4 seconds to Voidsy, so not catching up there. Voidsy is 3.5 seconds off of the Crawler. And I think Not Crawler, has 7 whole seconds to Doodle Bob. We know it's close to the next 4 drivers there in JP Scale, Super Sapido, Jogal, and Shahir, all kind of in this tight pack here. Behind them, we have Moose, who fell down to P10. We haven't been able to explain it. We just think maybe he took a lot of fuel, and he is not able to regain anything here. Rusty Maggots is under attack for P11 by Wicco, who's got 3.5 seconds to S7R's Mr. Racing. And Mr. Racing is completely in a different zip code from JP Player, who comes in last. The fuel lights are flashing for some of these drivers already. I mean, we're towards the end, but I think some of them are pushing it here. We still got, 3, almost 4 laps for some of these drivers left around here. Back to this battle though. Whoa, and it's side by side. I think Super Sapido got a really bad exit out of there. It's a pass by his teammate Jogal, of course, but still, it does put him susceptible and does see an attack from Shahir coming into turn 1. He's looking for a position. Jogal trying to play defense for his teammate, but there's only so much he can do. Super Sapido has to do some of the work himself, and he's able to do it. Let's see what happened here. So Sapido comes out of the launch pad. Oh, and he starts to lose the rear. He just rights it. So Jogal, of course, has the run up, and so does Shahir. He's gonna use Jogal's slipstream here. Jogal doesn't want to give it to him. He moves over to give Super Sapido some help as much as he can. And then, of course, Shahir, tried to make a move. It wasn't quite on, but that's as much as the replays we can see. That was exciting. Luckily, not too much of a loss for the team. Of course, a personal loss for Super Sapido in the points, but overall, that could have been a lot worse, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for us to see that team dynamic at play, right? Jogal said, no problem, I'll step up ahead. Super Sapido was able to actually play defense and keep Shahir back behind and kind of off their bumpers. Even at one point, both of them went too wide, and just gave Shahir nowhere to go.
That's right. Fantastic defense there and cooperative defense. This is Doodlebob, who's being chased by another VIP driver. It was JP Scale. We got a little bit of insight. I kind of forgot. Super Sapido did pit pretty early, so his tires are not that great. And this is Doodlebob being passed by JP Scale. I think it was really showing up that great on his picture-in-picture. It's because it's a little bit delayed. But JP Scale now ahead of the Ghost. We do have a replay of what happened here. The attack happened in turn 1. JP Scale around the outside just squeezes Doodlebob off there, cuts his nose off going into the first corner of the S's, really, and is able to just haul butt out of that corner into the fast sweeping left-hander. Well done for JP Scale. A much needed pass as we come into literally the twilight of this race. It's gotten very dark very quickly here, but again, no lights around here, so the drivers will be eager to get this race over with, and the fans probably can't see a thing anyway, Hovercraft.
Absolutely. And, you know, the other thing I was really thinking about is possibly the reason why there's not many night races is because this is in a very urban zone. I forget what city specifically, most likely a city called Interlagos, but I do know there's quite some urbanization around the track, and they probably want peace and quiet during the sleeping time, not roaring cars going around in circles.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, and you're absolutely right. And Interlagos is in one of the most urban areas. It's in Sao Paulo in Brazil. So I don't know if Sao Paulo is more populous than Rio de Janeiro, but it is a very large city in Brazil for sure. So yeah, it makes sense that you don't want to hear race cars reverberating through the buildings that we see in the background there. So faithfully rendered by the PD team. Shahir is incredibly desperate to get this P8. This is the final lap, and Super Speedo is not safe. He doesn't have the tires under his car that the other driver does. In fact, we're looking at Shahir's tires now. If we take a look at Super Speedo's, we'll see there's a little bit of a difference there, especially in that right front, which does matter for, well, the next hairpin coming up here, and that long right-handed sweeper coming out of the third hairpin, and then finally, you know, the launch pad. It matters having that right front up under you and the right rear. We already saw him almost lose it there a couple of laps ago, and he has lost time to his teammates. So we're gonna watch Lookie's flashing lights as he crosses the line in first place. Teammate, if looks could kill, will give us a reverse entry for second. Boydzy will take third. That strategy paying out for him. Not Crawler will take fourth place for Team VIP. Back to this JP Scale and Doodlebob battle. JP will easily take P5 away from Doodlebob, and then Super Speedo holds on to P8. Jogal is right in front of him there, and behind him was Shahir. Moose 21 will take 10th place. Rusty Maggots about to make that last left-hander, getting a yellow flag. Someone must have 360'd across the line. Behind him, Wicco with a half-second penalty, which turned into a 1-second penalty, will possibly give Mr. Racing that position at the end. And then VIP player has one more set of corners to go here, up the hill one final time, very low on fuel, on an absolute sip of it, and will crawl across the line after everyone else. Who are we still getting a yellow flag for? There's no one around here. Also, with a reverse entry, it doesn't matter. One must always finish with style. Well, another one in the book. Shout out to the winner, AMS Lookie. Jumped out ahead from the very beginning and never lost that top position. Just an absolute clinic put on by the AMS boys at the very start of this race. That is amazing. You know, what else can you say about it? Slow-mo hover, you know, it wasn't that we didn't see as many battles in this race as we did in the Division II race, but kind of gave us notice on what we're going to see from this pack of racers on Saturday. It stayed pretty close between a lot of drivers, and no one got lapped. No one fully ran away with this race. So I think as the season wears on, we're going to see more and more. Slow-mo, could I please get you to read the final results for me?
Happy to. You see Team Big Pace right up at the top, putting everybody on notice. We've got Lookie coming in P1. If looks could kill, taking P2 there. Then you've got Distinct Voidsy in P3. VIP Nightcrawler coming in with that fourth position. VIP JP Scale getting his way into that P5 spot, getting past Doodlebob as we saw, who took that P6 position. Coming in seventh is Joe Gal. Then you have Super Sapido in number 8. VIP Shahir in P9, with Moose coming in P10. S7R's Rusty Maggots finishes in number 11. Then you've got Wicco in 12th. S7R's Mr. Racing in 13th. And then VIP Player closing out our grid in 14th.
Thank you. You are very much appreciated. Thank you for reading that to us. We will be having our interviews next. We're just going to wait on our podium winners from both races to join us in the interview room, and we'll get to ask them all sorts of questions about how that race went for them. Unfortunately, we can't talk to everyone because way more than just the top three in both races had a lot of action, but we will settle for the ones who did the best, I guess. I think we still need a couple of them to come in, so we'll hold off on that for now. Hovercraft, any reactions to the race? What are your thoughts?
Overall, I'd say it was definitely more of a chess match type of race compared to the Division II race. A lot of the positions were finalized based off strategy rather than racecraft and outright pace. Doodle Bob was honestly the one that was interested in the most, taking, I think he was the only driver to take double mediums. Almost played out correctly. Almost took P5 home. Just JP skill maximizing the softs towards the end. I think he was gambling on the fact that the drivers behind were going to fight a lot more after the pit stop phase. Unfortunately, that really wasn't the case. Allowed JP skill to get P5 during the closing laps.
Yeah, more of a chess match is actually a perfect way to put it. I think I said something about the race being a bit of a more mature approach during this particular round. Of course, everyone is going to be different. We even heard from Asriel earlier that sometimes the mix of drivers will actually be different. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the races of the season. Lots of different themes to go through. Slow-mo, I mean, you've seen the schedule. This was kind of a more basic race. There was no theme for this one, but we've got like endurance races and other ones. What are you looking forward to seeing this season as we wear on?
Every single one of them, to be completely honest. I mean, Daytona stands out as one that I really like to watch, but the combos are just they're exceptional going through this league. So VIP did a really good job putting on some challenging races for these guys. And we talked about this one being a simple race. But then again, there was plenty of strategy that played out. I mean, you saw pit passes. I think a lot of these guys were very patient here in this Division I race that we watched tonight.
Yeah, agreed. Sorry, my hair is bothering me right now. Yeah, lots of strategy definitely made a huge difference. I mean, we did see a podium position happen basically on pit strategy, however you called it really well. Not Crawler just ran through those soft tires and never really even got close to Void Z there. Now, I forgot about Doodle Bob doing the double medium stint, and not too bad. He did lose the position towards the end, like you said, but it was just the one position, so it was nice to see two different strategies play out. And even both strategies, they were deployed differently, so that really made it exciting. So we do have the drivers who got on the podium in now, so we're going to talk to all six that we have, or if we don't have all six, we'll talk to the ones we do have. We start with Looky, Get Busy, and Void Z. So that's Looky and If Looks Could Kill, of course, and Void Z. Congratulations, you three. We'll probably start with Void Z there. P3, ultimately, after getting pole position. We kind of saw how you ended up doing it. What were you thinking at the start? Did you expect the Porsches to have such a big jump there? I think maybe we don't have sound.
I don't think Voidsy's in here.
Oh, got it. Sorry, I didn't see that he wasn't in here. And well, then I'll go to Get Busy, our P2 driver. If Looks Could Kill, you followed Looky right on through into P2. Tell us again, was that always the plan? I guess same question, but just from the other end for you guys. Did you know you were going to outlaunch that Ferrari?
Oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, I knew that Lukey was since he was P2, but I think it was really kind of just lucky I got a very good launch at the start.
Got it.
And but yeah, that kind of was the plan, was to try and overtake turn one and just lead the race.
It was ballsy, but it worked. Turn one is not easy to pass in. and stay ahead. So, congratulations. Obviously worked out for you guys. Slow-mo, do you have any questions for If Looks Could Kill?
Yeah, I mean, well, great race. First of all, congratulations to both you guys, or all three of you guys, for the podiums there. Um, Tell us a little bit about, your strategy coming in. Did it work out as you anticipated? Did you ever at any point consider changing your strategy?
No, it's been it's been pretty much the same since like Tuesday. We were choosing to save fuel, so we didn't have to pit and take fuel, because it's just the animation for fueling is 2 seconds or around there, so you lose a ton of time taking fuel. So we just suffered through the first stint on the mediums, saving fuel, and then I knew once we hit the pits and crawler took fuel that it was all good from there.
All right, Hover, what about you? Any thoughts or questions for that team?
Yeah, get busy, or If Looks Could Kill, however you want me to call you. Congratulations on the P2 overall. During those closing laps, during the final laps, you were getting a lot closer to your teammate Loki. Not close enough to really contest per se, but definitely cut down the gap a little bit. It was 2.2 for most of the second part of the race. If you got a few extra laps, if you were able to get even closer to Loki, how hard would you have fought for the overall win?
I would have battled him till the final lap. You know what I mean? Things went bad at the beginning, so I ended up being a couple seconds back. But I mean, I think I did good for the second stint. Caught up to him a little bit, but I don't think there would have been much tire life left if there was a few laps. So I'm very happy with the results.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. Get Busy would have caught me at the end. Honestly, he was catching on me. He caught up on me for about a second. So,
Right,
but the race was over by then. So,
yes, sir. All right, I gotta go.
Well,
Thank you.
Thanks, If Looks Can Kill. We'll see him in the next round. Of course, it's Lukey's turn anyway. Lukey, I mean, you never put a foot wrong, it seems, in this race. Yes, If Looks Could Kill did start to catch you, but it seems like you really calculated it down to the wire. You knew what was going to happen. He already told us that it was always the plan to jump out ahead and in turn one and try to dominate. Now that you've got this P1 under your belt, this first race win, what do you see for the next few rounds? In fact, are you racing in all of the next few rounds?
yes, I will be doing all the following races, and I will try to give the same effort as I did for this race towards the other ones.
Well, I would expect no less from you, Lukey. You've been around for a good bit. You know how to do this thing. Slow-mo, any questions for Lukey?
Yeah, I mean, big pace. You guys have certainly come out here in the first round and put the league on notice. 1-2 finishes in both races, if I'm not mistaken. So, are you guys going to be able to keep that up throughout the season? Are there any rounds that you guys are concerned about?
I mean, we'll see. We have some very good drivers around us to keep to keep good competition around. So we'll see what happens, but we're pretty confident about having good members on our side, and but we'll definitely try to give a good run for their money.
I trust that for sure. Hover, anything from you?
Congratulations on the P1 finish overall. Well, win of the Division 1 Saturday races. Congratulations. As Slow-mo
Thank you very
said,
much.
Big Pace has come out, all cylinders firing. Really kind of set the bar for how the rest of the league needs to look at you and, what they need to deliver on the day of. My question for you is, at the beginning of the race, after the crawler was able to get up to P2 against your teammate, he was falling close behind. What was kind of your mindset when when he was getting a lot closer to you in the first part of the race? And, how I'm assuming you probably felt like he was probably pushing his tires or fuel quite a lot, but was there any sort of concern whether the crawler had had a real chance at you in terms of getting the position?
Well, I did feel some pressure, but I was definitely wondering what kind of strategy he was going on to, because I know he caught up to me, so that means he used fuel to get to me. So I knew he was kind of pushing and maybe using too much fuel, maybe. But I knew I was just being very careful with my fuel. I was shifting early and just not making any mistakes and just staying consistent. That was the most important thing. And but yes, once I saw he was getting close to me, I think he only wanted the draft to maybe save a little bit of fuel. But then when we pitted, when I saw him take fuel, I knew it was kind of over in a way, because we knew we didn't have to take we knew we didn't have to save any fuel for the soft stint, so it went very good from there.
Yeah, and you guys executed a perfect race, basically. P1, P2, congratulations to your team, all 4 drivers that competed today, as well as the races on Thursday. And yeah, great result for you guys.
Yeah, thank you for you guys making the broadcast very interesting and always fun to rewatch.
Thanks, Lukey. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next round.
All right, thank you very much.
Speaking of next round, we're going to reveal that in a moment. First, though, I need you guys to do some things. I need you to hit the like button, the thumbs up button on whatever channel you're watching this right now. Go ahead and do that. Subscribe on that channel as well. Go over to Upshift Media Studios YouTube channel if you're not already there, and do the same things there, because we always have treats for you there. And of course, check out the VIP team and this league over at motorsportleagues.com. So those are your 3, 4, maybe 5 assignments that I've just condensed into 3. Next, let's talk about next round. We're going to do some America things. That's right. We're going to be in North America. That is on the 23rd. That's just this next coming Thursday here. The theme of this race is Keep in Slip. And the reason for that is that the race is at one of the temples to slipstream and the aerodynamic way of life, and that is Daytona Raceway, a NASCAR super speedway, if you will. And I don't know that we have a graphic revealing that, but if you know Daytona, you know what it's about. It's all about speed. We'll be in American cars here, but I don't know how much more I can reveal, so I think I'll stop there. Won't tell you what cars we're going to be in, but I know what cars we'll be in, and we'll see soon. I'm sorry, can I say it? I cannot say it. Sorry, I probably couldn't have even told you what the track was, but now you know. We'll see you next time, though, in just a few days. I think it's time to go ahead and say goodbye. Hovercraft, I want to thank you so much for joining us in the booth this evening. It's always a pleasure getting to do commentary with you. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure to view this first race on the Saturday side. And yeah, I'm going to keep an eye, be it either only as a spectator or possibly as a guest commentator for a future round. But thank you guys for having me.
We'll see. We appreciate it. And Slow-Mo, it's going to be a goodbye from you as well.
Yeah, Hover, Tati, Sal, always great to work with you guys. Thank you for having me. What a great race we got to watch, both of them. Division 2 is stacked. Division 1 is stacked even more. So really excited to see these guys fight throughout this league and this championship. Big shout out to the VIP team. They are putting on an absolute banger of a league.
So far, that's exactly what it's looked like. So thank you to the VIP team and everyone there behind the scenes that can make this happen. We'll see you all next time. Yeah. Stream is done.
All right, thank you guys very much.
Awesome.
I'm
Thank you, guys.
gonna head out.
Yeah, thanks
of
for
course.
joining, Hover.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
I have to work tomorrow, so I gotta get into bed like right now. But thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye bye.
Good night.
That was fun. Sorry, I had a couple of misses in there, but I think overall not a bad
Hey,
broadcast.
Sal, are we still on? I still see us on the screen. Yeah, live is the booth right now.